goes out into the covers. And that's the end of the second over. And the Kent total is 8 without loss. And all those 8 are to Bears Swanepoel. So 100 also going on today. The competition continues. Trent Rockets against Birmingham Phoenix today, and the women first up at 3 o'clock, so that's not quite underway. In fact, they'll be tossing the coin very shortly there as forward is O'Riordan, who's the one change in the Kent side from the team that beat Lancashire at Blackpool in their last game. So effectively a batter for a seam bowler, or seam bowling all rounder. Kent made that choice for this game. Abbott getting G'd up by 1 or 2 members of the Hampshire side. Need to take early wickets here if there's to stand any chance of winning this game. They're way below par, even though there was some help with the new ball, as that's driven up towards mid-off. That's fielded by Joe Eklund, who made 21 before he was the 5th man out. He was out hooking at Charlie Stobo, who dug one in, and Eklund just got a top edge, pulling that away on the leg side, and Grant Stewart taking a catch at backward of square leg on the boundary rope. Fairly simple catch in the end. He didn't have to move too far, took it about chest height. Eklund sharing in a partnership of 46 with Nick Gubbins before he was the 5th man out. Here's Abbott, comes in again, and Riordan's off the back foot. Can't quite find the gap at the moment, Riordan. Right-hander for Kent. In the other group, Group B, Essex made 281 for 9 against Leicestershire. Top scorers in the Essex innings, 3 men got to 50, but couldn't push on. Matt Critchley, Charlie Allison and Noah Thane all got into the 50s and got out. Abbott in again, runs away from us. So Riordan again gets a length ball, punches that up to mid-off. And there is no run. Yorkshire were 261 all out in the 50th against Sussex. Top scorer Sean Masood made 63 before he was run out. I mentioned the Lancashire-Derbyshire game. Derbyshire needing just another 14 runs to win that with 9 wickets in hand. Somerset made 241 for 9 against Durham. As Abbott comes in again and pushes that up towards mid-off. Another good length ball there from Abbott. And there is no run. So you're up to date. Oh, Glamorgan-Nottinghamshire was the other game in the other group. 266 for 9. Nottinghamshire only just completed, actually 274 for 9 in the end. Nottinghamshire, who have just completed their 50 overs. Hasib Hamid top scoring with 89. Abbott turns. Bowls. Oh, he's playing a missing. Oh no, he's edged through to the keeper. And Ben Brown takes a simple catch. And that is the end of O'Riordan. And that is the first wicket down for Kent. Bit of extra bounce there from Kyle Abbott. They are 8 for 1. Ben Watts.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. I thought you'd decided to go home.
I got a bit stuck in the pizza queue.
I thought you decided, well, this game's one for Kent. There's no point in me hanging around. Kev will just do a few overs, see it off.
Well, my arrival has been timed just at the moment that Marcus O'Riordan has perished at the top of the order. He said about how he expected Hampshire to maybe threaten with a new ball, and well, from what I've seen from square leg / deep point, Bears Swanepoel's been pretty aggressive to start with.
Threw the cheese on the pizza?
Well, I actually haven't. As you can see, I haven't actually ate any pizza yet, so it's fresh out the oven. So I was very much stuck in queue behind some others. I tried to get somebody to bring it back for me, but they didn't do delivery, so had to leave you to man the fort.
No Deliveroo from just the other side of the ground.
I know, right? You'd have thought. Here's an extra couple of quid. Just bring it over to that marquee, please.
Other delivery, fast food delivery companies available.
Absolutely, yeah. So Joey Everson then in at number 3, and it's been Joey Everson and Bear Swanepoel that I've been opening in this competition so far. Reardon coming back into the side for this one after a little bit of illness and injury. So yeah, Bear, this is basically the pair that have been opening the batting for Kent, with Ekansh Singh at number 3. So expecting Singh to drop down the order and Everson just going down one. But Swanepoel continuing to bat in the same fashion at the top of the order and look to be positive. They say chase a low score hard and try and do it quickly. Well, Swanepoel is clearly trying to make the most of the fielding restrictions in the early stages of this reply.
He's not going to die wandering in this innings, is he?
So Spitfires 12 for 1. Swanepoel with those runs. He's slapping this one away, square the wicket out towards a wide third man position. And they come through for a single after that first ball was dispatched through the covers. So Swanepoel, as you say, is looking to bat one way and get out the bowling. Marcus Reardon seemingly was just trying to play himself in a little bit, happy to sit in against Kyle Abbott. Obviously, having not played a couple of cricket, or not played cricket for a couple of weeks, he was just trying to get his timing and ended up being dismissed. So Joey Everson now on strike. Wheel bowls too many bumps this up towards mid-on dot ball. A couple of slips still in play. In comparison to perhaps the Kent slips, they're quite tight to one another. Preston Albert next to keeper Brown. Kent's second slip was even a little bit wider. Sometimes Jack Leading was quite close as well, almost standing in front of his wicket keeper. That second slip was wheel from the city end of the ground. Or bowls a full delivery which has been clipped away out towards the deep square leg fielder. And Everson gets himself off the mark.
Yeah, it can be quite disconcerting when it's a low total you're defending on a pitch where you think, yeah, the new ball's going to help me here a little bit, and then Swanepoel plays the way he does, and as a bowler all you want to do is just drop into a nice rhythm, just bang it in just short of a length, but that is obviously giving you something to think about.
Here he comes around the wicket too. Swanepoel bowls short and he's attacked it in front of square, and this should be 4 more runs. It's gone away over a kind of wide-ish mid-on, mid-wicket area. Wasn't totally controlled by Swanepoel, but he was aggressive enough on the shot to take it away to the boundary for 4. So he now moves on to 17. Kent 18 for 1 at the end of this 4th over. 1 more ball to go in it. Wheel around the wicket to Swanepoel. Hooks again. This time there's a fielder out in the deep, Eddie Jack, who will keep it down 2-1. 19 for 1 Kent, chasing 169 to win, so 150 more required.
Yeah, so already Brad Wheels changing his thought processes there. He's bowled a couple, banged them into the pitch short, trying to test Swanepoel out on the hook. Whereas, as I say, with the new ball, you kind of want to be banging it in just short of a length and letting the odd one bounce and the odd one seam. Swanepoel's winning that little battle. None for 19 from 2 overs, Brad Wheel. Can't have it, the wicket taker to continue. Swanepoel's 10 from just 4 deliveries. Sorry, 18 from 10 deliveries, what am I saying? But it's him again. Oh, is there an inside edge onto that one? As Ben Brown was diving to his left. Umpire's going to signal buys, I think. Just near back a fraction there. Just surprised Ben Brown. But more runs to the Kent total. There's certainly not a quiet start.
Yeah, that could be the key little battle. Swanepoel against Abbott here.
Just watching the replay there. Yeah, did nip back. Yeah, Swanepoel was out way outside leg stump. Here he is facing Abbott again. He was round the wicket and bowls, and that's wrapped him on the pad. They'll come through for a leg bye. Total for Kent moves on to 21 for 1 in the 5th over. Nice fast start. Don't get the fielding side, don't give them anything to cheer about too much. They've got 1 wicket, which is not a bad start, but they'll be worried about the run rate already. So Abbott into Everson. Everson plays and misses. No, he's edged that one as well. A little fish outside the off stump. Again, the extra bounce just undoes the batter. No foot movement there at all. Easy catch, Ben Brown. And that combination has got rid of their second Kent batter. They're 22 for 2.
Just the start for Hampshire. Needed early wickets if they were going to give themselves a sniff in this game. Joey Everson, as you say, a little bit guilty of chasing a wide one there. In fact, you can see why on first glance Everson's gone after it. He's seen there that it's a little bit on length or back off with width, but it just nips away down the slope, and that's the difference between it hitting the middle of the bat and taking the edge. So credit to Kyle Abbott, he's hitting a spot and getting a bit of joy from this wicket. And Kent at 22 without loss, or 22 for 2, sorry, and with the loss of Marcus O'Riordan and now Joey Everson as well. So Abbott's taken both of them, 2 for 1, midway through his 3rd over. He's very much the man at the moment.
And 5 Sports Extra have joined us here at a warm and sunny Beckenham. Kevin James and Ben Watts with you, as Kent have just lost their 2nd wicket. 5 overs gone. Well, we're in the 5th over. 22 for 2. Kent are chasing just 169. Hampshire having won their first 2 games in this competition. Kent lost their first one and won their second. Hampshire were 24 for 4 at one stage with the ball bouncing and nipping around off the seam, and we're seeing a similar situation here with Kyle Abbott having picked up both wickets. O'Riordan for no score, caught behind, and now Everson for 1, also caught behind. New batter is Jack Leaning for Kent. Kyle Abbott bowling from our commentary end has 2 for 1. Right arm over, 2 slips in, comes in and bowls. Leaning gets one, it just nips back a fraction, turns it away on the onside, and he's off the mark straight away. Well, there's Swanepoel is having a bit of thrash at the other end, trying to play a slightly different game to the other Kent players who so far have tried to play the ball in a pretty much a traditional manner. Swanepoel's 19 off 12 and giving himself all sorts of room, and has connected with 1 or 2 particularly good shots with a horizontal bat, but he looks as though he's going to take the bowlers on. There's Abbott round the wicket again. Length ball, can't take that one on as he plays that into the ground. Whether 2 wickets early on might make him rethink, we'll have to wait and see. But very much the ball when it's hard, or the balls when they're hard, are certainly keeping the bowlers very interested.
Yeah, Abbott in particular has been bang on the money, hasn't he, so far? 2 maidens, and then now in this over, getting himself another wicket, 2 for 2. It's Wheel at the other end who's gone for all the runs that Swanepoel has attacked, so the South African's been a bit more respectful of his countrymen.
Yeah, he has, yeah. Bowles comes down the wicket there, though, as a thrasher misses. If he got hold of that, that's going into the Crystal Palace training ground. Fortunately, they're nowhere near. They're a few thousand miles away over the pond. But that goes through to Ben Brown. So it looks like Swanepoel is going to continue to play the way he wants to play. And 5 overs are gone, 23 for 2.
Yeah, indeed, the Premier League side currently in America on a pre-season tour, but yeah, so far I think, well, certainly in the last couple of overs and the wickets that Abbott has now picked up, it has been a bit of a repeat of that first innings where brand new ball has carried through with a bit of pace and bounce, and we expected Abbott, with the skill and quality that he's got, to potentially replicate what Swanepoel did early on, and he took those 3 wickets up top to reduce Hampshire to 24 for 4. Stobo in the middle, the other overseas player for Kent, getting a couple of important wickets when Eklund and Gubbins got going. Kyle Abbott, 37 at the tail end of the innings, top scoring for Hampshire, along with England under-19 Dom Kelly making a 32. There's a shout for LBW, maybe slightly high, but it looked like a bit of nip down the slope to the right-handed leaning there from Brad Wheel. You can see in a way why Swanepoel's playing the way he is. It feels like batters that are trying to play properly and sitting in their crease are the ones that are potentially struggling, whereas Swanepoel, who's looking to be super aggressive and going at the ball, maybe earning himself a bit of luck. Yeah, really sharp nip back down the slope, that one from Wheel, just seeing the replay there. He's going to bowl again here to Jack Leaning. Down the leg side, half an appeal, wide signalled. So there wasn't any contact of bat, glove or even thigh pad.
Now, when it's hot, do you want to eat that pizza and I'll keep going?
Well,
go on, I'm more than happy to.
Pizza tastes nice cold as well, so I think I'll be alright for a moment.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I left you on your own while
that's all right.
at the top of the piece, so
don't worry.
We'll get some guest commentators in to come and join us in a moment. As Wheel is in, Leaning goes back and plays into the covers. Jack with a shy at the stumps. Good tumbling stop to prevent any of the overthrows as they come through for that single. 25 for 2 now, Kent. Chasing 169 to win the game. Good win for Kent on Sunday in that dramatic conclusion at Blackpool. Trying to continue on from that and get their second win in the competition. Hampshire have already got a couple. Swanepoel there, and again just walking down the pitch, trying to steer the ball away into the offside.
Yeah, we always tried him out with a couple of bouncers and he's played them reasonably well. Be interesting to see if he tries it again. But Swanepoel is trying to knock him off his line and leg.
Yes, refusing to just let the bowler bowl to him. Well, that was just seeing that replay. Good delivery from Wheel round the wicket, trying to cramp Swanepoel for room. I feel like his potential wicket, as he attacks this one again, it's going to go one way or the other for the Kent opener. This one's going to go the way of the batter and away for 4 more runs. Again, Wheel deciding to dig it in, perhaps sensing that Swanepoel might charge down the pitch at him. And he's attacked it on the up, way over mid-wicket, in front of square for 4 more runs.
It's making Wheel really think hard about what his next delivery is.
Yeah, I think they're going to move the deep square leg, actually, because he's just going to come in front of square now. Wheel again. Oh, inside edge. But Swanepoel's aggressive intent is almost earning them this bit of fortune. Massive inside edge past the stumps. Could have easily cannoned back onto them, but it goes away for 4 more runs past the short fine leg fielder.
Yeah, a bit of fortune, of course, but I just worry about the deep square leg fielder going a little square, because for me that last short ball 2 balls ago didn't really get up enough. Now if he does dig one in again, decides to do it again, it gets a little higher, that's going to go squarer, and the fielder's already moved. Wheel
goes short. Swanepoel charges, plays and misses. I don't know what he's looking at the umpire for, saying that it was he's saying it's another short one over shoulder height. I'm not sure what he's complaining about. He's come down the pitch and missed it. End of the over.
Well, sorry.
I was just going to say, it's a bit of a sort of throwback effort so far from Swanepoel. We've talked about how in 50 over cricket in the One Day Cup, generally teams kind of sit in against the new ball and don't want to lose too many wickets. Don't necessarily see people attack this first power play like they do in T20, but maybe with the smaller score to chase, Swanepoel's been encouraged to go hard at everything. 33 for 2 after 6 overs.
To be honest, if I was a head coach, I'd be worried he's playing too many shots, even for T20.
Yeah, he's going to hit every ball at the ground in a minute, isn't he?
Leaning to face Abbott. He's picked up the 2 wickets to date, and that's a conventional forward defensive from Jack Leaning. Would expect nothing else from Jack Leaning.
Well, quite.
One of the more technically perfect batters on the circuit.
Yeah, and Leaning's job will be to stop the rot from one end with Reardon out for Norton Everton out cheaply for one as well against Abbott, and knowing the quality that South African overseas has.
Abbott 2 for 2 in his fourth over here. Runs away from us and bowls. Leaning plays and misses outside the off stump, and that's already brought the downfall of 2 batters.
That's the
in
one.
this innings. That is the one. That's the line. That's the link.
Yeah, it's not the ball on the stumps that's been the threat. It's the one that has made the batsman think, oh, might be some runs here, square of the wicket, and then it's nipped away down the slope and it's taken the edge.
Again, I'm not sure Leaning's footwork was that great.
No, it was a bit of a fence, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm just watching that here. That's a long way away from the body there, and yeah, not the best shot, that one. Here's Abbott again and bowls to Leaning, who just walks a fraction into that shot, plays it back to the bowler.
Yeah, don't mind that. Get
Well,
right forward.
Yeah, but you're right, they are playing Abbott differently than they are Brad Wheel. Well, certainly Swanepoel is.
Yeah, even for a couple of balls that Swanepoel faced, Abbott, it was very much more watchful.
Yeah.
Than he's been against Wheel. It's quite an experienced Kent batting to come. The likes of the 2 teenagers, Jaden Denley and Ekansh Singh. Harry Finch, the wicketkeeper, will probably come in next, but
Abbott runs away from us, bowls to Leaning, and it's a good length ball. We've already got one result in the Metro Bank One Day Cup competition today. Derbyshire have beaten Lancashire by 9 wickets, chasing 99. Lancashire all out in the 20th over for 99. Derbyshire 100 for 1 in the 20th over, so basically a T20 game there. Commentators have had a nice easy day today, haven't they? Rees was not out 52, but Guest 37 not out, so comfortable win there for Derbyshire. All the other games going on today? Pick up live on the BBC Sport website, and that appears Abbott bowls, length ball again to Leaning, who is quite happy to play nice and straight to that one.
yeah, it was a small target, just looking down that Kent batting to come. We've so Reid and Joey Everson, well, they're not the youngest players in the team, they're kind of mid-level in terms of their experience perhaps, but you know, with those two teenagers to come, a couple of all-rounders, feels like Leaning has got some responsibility on his shoulders to maybe sit in and try and bat for a good portion.
Abbott in, bowls. Again, it's a length ball to Leaning, who's not showing too much adventure against Kyle Abbott. Another good over from Hampshire's veteran bowler.
Yeah, another maiden. 3 he's bowled so far. None of his 4 overs. 2 for 2.
That's all right, isn't it?
That's pretty sound. So it's going to be Wheel. We're going to see a change in the bowling. I think we might be about to see Eddie Jack. And I'm thinking will be here for Nick Gubbins perhaps is that Jack, with his stature, he's a bit taller than Brad Wheel. Maybe he can extract a little bit more bounce from his surface. If that's the case and Swanepoel continues to attack, maybe that's when deep square leg comes into play, or maybe a nick off to the keeper or slip. Third man out there as well. It's quite a good view from third man, I must say, when I was walking round a moment ago. They got a little bit of astroturf in front of the flats down there, and yeah, it's a lovely view of the action.
We have none for 29, Brad Wheel.
So it's Jack replacing him, is it? From the far end. Swanepoel just having a look, defending this first delivery up the pitch. Yeah, perhaps no surprise that Will taking out of the attack, with Swanepoel taking a liking to him. He's hit 5 boundaries in his 27 from 20 balls. Decent half an hour's work so far for the Kent opener, the all-rounder. Took 3 wickets earlier on for just 28 runs from his 9 overs. As Jack bowls to him, and once again he's tucking himself in behind this one and playing defensively. Up towards mid-on.
Good start. First 2 balls right on the money. Eddie Jack was just hobbling there a little bit on his follow-through. A couple of times in the last couple of games he's been a bit like that.
Yeah, just taking a moment before coming in for this next delivery. Slower ball down the leg side, wide signalled. Swanepoel had a good old swing at it, but played and missed.
Just wonder if he's got a little ankle niggle. No, Mohammed Abbas, he's got a side niggle. I think Hampshire are hoping for him to be around maybe next week at the earliest.
Just on the injury front, it was nice to see Joe Denley on the outfield at the midway point, doing some running and fitness work ahead of trying to get back into this team and return to full fitness after a knee ligament issue. This one's a little bit more aggressive from Swanepoel, but he's only picked out mid-on. As he looked to get back on the offensive. To almost back away a bit to the leg side and give himself room, free up the hands. Jack's just bought the one wide in the over so far. There's the short ball. It's been given as a wide actually. Swanepoel is shorter in stature, the South African, and it was well over his head, so shows that Eddie Jack can extract something from this pitch, but Swanepoel on this occasion chose not to go after it. In fact, just seeing the replay, it was quite leg side as well, so that might be the reason why it was given as a wide, as opposed to say a no ball. There's a short one, there's Swanepoel attacking it, man in the deep is on the move, Toby Abbott moving to his right, and it goes to ground. Really had to eat up some ground there, Toby Abbott, to go and fetch the ball. Coming out of the blue sky, a bit of white puffy cloud as well. Wasn't sure if he quite got hands to it or not. He seemed to dive forward and failed to make proper contact. Just seeing the replay, or maybe it does just sort of burst through the hands. It was an awkward one, never quite got himself set, but Swanepoel continuing to attack the short ball. Feels like that catch is possibly in the game as he gets a single hit, slight misfield from Organ at mid-wicket. A little bit of inside edge as he skewed it away. So Swanepoel continuing to be the aggressor, and fortune favouring the brave a little bit. Moves to 30. 30 of these 38 runs that Ken have got so far, all to the South African. Jack with one more to go in the over.
It turns out having the deep field a little square was almost a very good move.
Yeah. We weren't sure about that. Slight tweak to the field, leaning on strike. That's down the leg side, and he's just got a little tickle on this, and it's going to go for 4. Disappointment for Jack. He's annoyed at himself, but having adjusted his line, he's gone a little bit too leg side. And Jack leaning has got something on that to help the ball on its way. So the end of the 8th over, Kents have got 42 for 2 on the board.
Wow, comfortably ahead. Hampshire were only early 20s at this stage. Really struggling, 3 down by now as well.
Yeah, it was the next over that they ended 24 for 4 after 9.
So, be problems for Hampshire to stem the runs in this power play, but they have picked up 2 wickets. That man is Kyle Abbott, and he's in again round the wicket too. Swanepoel is watching that one. Leaning was thinking about a single, has to turn pretty smartish. Throw comes in from Toby Abbott and hits the stumps at the bowler's end.
Yeah, Leaning was keen, but Swanepoel, in comparison to the swashbuckling counterpuncher we've seen batting at one end against Abbott, he's very much turning into Dean Elgar.
Yeah, he doesn't want to know. He's staying in behind the line of the ball, whereas to the other seamers he's moving leg side. But with Abbott, he's very much in behind it. He's staying around the wicket, comes in again past the umpire, goes for a swing, it's in the air, and that is caught at mid-on. And that is Joe Eklund. Tried to hit it over the top, Swanepoel, never really got it in the middle of the bat. And Eklund's taken a really good catch moving forward at mid-on. Swanepoel goes for 30, 42 for 3.
Yeah, first aggressive shot he's played against Abbott. Off the bat, you thought might be okay, but Or he might have hit it straight enough that it would evade that fielder, but in the end it was pretty much down his throat. Like you say, without timing. So Swanepoel, from 25 deliveries, departs for 30. And Kyle Abbott has taken all the wickets up top, 3 for 2. 3 wickets for just 2 runs for the experienced South African seamer, who is really enjoying himself on this wicket. And yeah, with that loss on the 3rd wicket, Kent still got 120 odd runs to get. Some inexperienced lads to come in this Kent middle order. Kyle Abbott still got plenty of overs in the tank. Harry Finch comes out at number 5 then. Feels like Swanepoel was kind of the wild card at the top of the order. I would very much expect Finch and Leaning to try and sit in now and be patient and see Abbott off as much as they can potentially, because he's clearly the main threat.
Yeah, try to see the hardness of the ball off as well. Well, it was an interesting innings while it lasted.
Yeah, I mean, he could have quite easily been out much earlier than he was. It was very much he was going to live by the sword or die trying along those those lines.
That's good tactic though, wasn't it? I mean, 30 off 25, he's got the side off to a good start. They've lost 3 wickets, which is not ideal, but still keeps the game relatively in the balance.
Yeah, I guess you would expect almost that if you've got a guy playing like that at the top of the order, he's more likely to be the one getting out cheaply, but actually it was the other 2 men to fall were the ones that were kind of sitting in and just playing a bit more watchfully, albeit they both ended up chasing a wide one and looking behind to Brown. So
Right-handed Finch facing Kyle Abbott wisely leaves that one alone outside the off stump.
Top scored for Kent at Blackpool on Sunday. Harry Finch, 48 he made. Batted at 6 in that game actually. Jaden Denley came in ahead of him, so you could see why perhaps Finch has got the nod this time around though, because I don't necessarily want to expose the teenager to Kyle Abbott.
Just the one slip who's fairly wide. Tom Prest for Abbott. See Finch bowls and he's playing a missing outside the off stump. That's a beauty. Had to play at that one. And just like the Kent bowlers, really just finding the one that bounces a little more and straightens a little bit more than the others, which makes that bowling just outside off stump particularly dangerous. Just wonder if it's worth another slip in for Abbott. Actually, I'm just watching the replay there. Perhaps he's played slightly inside the line there, Finch. Might give him slightly benefit of the doubt, but there is another slip going in. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, why not? Go on the attack. There's almost a catching the wicket as well.
Yeah. Has to, really, Hampshire. Forward. That's out the bat. Goes up towards mid-off. 3 for 2. Coming towards the end of his 5th over.
In fairness to Abbott as well, it doesn't feel like he's, you know, we've got the chip on his shoulder and he's running in and bowling raucous pace. He's actually just kind of bowling quite smoothly, and you know, he's a quality operator. He's almost letting the pitch do the work for him as much as anything.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost as if he's making sure the ball's in the right areas more than anything else, which is all we need to do here. He's on the back foot there. There's Finch, and that goes out to extra cover, fielded by Gubbins. Another good over there from Kyle Abbott. That's probably experience as well, isn't it, really, rather than charge in and run the risk of the odd average ball. He's probably just cut his pace down by 5% or so, just making sure he hits the right line and length.
Yeah, I think so. It's, as we say, not necessarily been Jaffers that have taken the wickets. It's actually been the slight variation. The deliveries that the batters have played have been the straighter ones, and they've just patted them back to him. But the wickets that got Everson and the deliveries that got Everson, the wickets of Everson and O'Riordan were actually same length, but just a little bit wider, and enticed them into strokes that they didn't want to be playing. A little bit of nip down the slope as well, particularly for that Everson one. Yeah, lack of foot movement and just nicked it behind. So from the experience of Abbott to the England under-19 international Eddie Jack, who's on the spot and beating the outside edge of Jack Leaning's bat. Through it goes to Ben Brown. That was another maiden, by the way, from Kyle Abbott. So he's bowled 4 maidens in 5 overs in a 50-over game. With figures of 3 for 2. Meanwhile, both the lads at the other end have gone at an economy rate of 9 and over. Jack was a little bit unfortunate in the previous over, perhaps. Could have had Swanepoel out and the ball went to ground. Little one down the leg side, which went for 4 off the bat of Leaning. This one is, again, on the hip. Which Leaning, no bat this time. So, leg by into the onside.
26 runs needed from here. Run rates from here on in is a fraction over 3s. That's not a worry.
They've got all the time in the world here. Kent to be patient. Pick their moments to attack. Perhaps chasing a few more than they would have liked, with a little bit of tail end wagging. Full delivery from Jack. He batted nicely, actually. And with Dom Kelly, his youth international teammate, before Kyle Abbott top score with 37. So I'm going to do an update here for BBC Radio Kent, but it's a shared show also of BBC Sussex Surrey, so I need to just have a brief look at what's going on in York. Sussex chasing 262 to try and win that game. There's Jack with 1 slip. Ball's again down the leg side, and it'll be a wide. Harry Finch, I'm out on strike. See, after this update, at the end of the Power Play 1, we might have a brief guest commentator with us. It's a lovely little initiative from Kent Cricket. I'll tell you more in a moment. Yeah, really good game of cricket here, actually, and this pitch here at Beckenham, so often known for being a batter's paradise, has just offered the bowlers enough to make this into a different kind of contest today. Hampshire all out for 168, and at one stage they were 24 for 4. So Bayers Swanepoel taking 3 wickets with the new ball. In the end, Grant Stewart picked up a couple, as well as Charlie Stobo, 1 each for Gilchrist and Parkinson, and a run out to finish proceedings. Kyle Abbott, who was the top scorer in the Hampshire innings with 37 from number 10 in the innings, he has been immaculate with the ball. So far, he's bowled 5 overs, 4 maidens, so no runs off 4 out of the 5 of the overs he's bowled. He's taken 3 wickets for just 2 runs. He's dismissed O'Riordan for 0, Joey Everson for 1, and now Swanepoel, who was swinging away and hit 5 boundaries in his 30 off 25 balls, but holed out to mid-on. And so Abbott has given Hampshire a sniff in this game. Kent are 44 for 3 in the final over of the first power play, the 10th over. So this game, interestingly poised elsewhere at York. Sussex chasing 262 to beat Yorkshire. They're 21 without loss in reply. Both of those games are live right now, full commentary via the BBC Sport app and website. Jack bowls, Finch drives, up towards mid-off. And that is the end of power play 1. 10 overs gone. Kent are 44 for 3.
So Jack's 2 overs, none for 10. Finch had to get off the mark, 7 balls he's faced. But back to normality really, with Swanepoel having departed, 30 of 25 deliveries. So 169 is the target here for Kent. Shouldn't present too many problems, especially as the ball gets a little older. It's just at the top of the order, just have to be a little careful. Not sure all the batters have been that. Here's Abbott then, bowling to Leaning, who's walking into that shot, drives that one wide of mid-off. Pleasant shot, and that's going for 4 runs. Nicely timed off the bat of Jack Leaning. Total moves on to 48 for 3.
So yeah, Kev, I was telling you that Kent Cricket, for the One Day Cup, they've well, this is the 2nd year they've been running this initiative actually, but they've decided to run a junior journo competition. So basically give youngsters the opportunity to, well, step into our shoes and get to interview the players and play a part behind the scenes on the day of the game. which is lovely to see.
Abbott bowls. It's a lovely drive from the up. He's found the gap there, Jack leaning. That's a really pleasant shot. And that's going for 4.
And well, Lewis is the man today. He's going to be quizzing the players at the end of the game. And briefly, he's just going to join you on the commentary here. So Lewis is wonderfully kitted out in his Kent training gear today. Nice Kent cap as well. I'm just going to stick the headphones on him, just as Jack Leaning appears to be finding his groove out there. Kevin's going to continue the commentary.
And he comes Kyle Abbott to Leaning. Leaning lets that one alone outside of the off stump. So we've got Lewis here, yes?
Yep, that's my name.
How old?
I'm 11 years old.
And you play locally?
Yeah, I play at Sid Cup Cricket Club.
Sid Cup Cricket Club, right. How far is that from here?
Like a 20-minute drive, maybe.
Okay. And you're obviously a big Kent supporter because you're in your Kent outfit.
Yeah, I actually got this at the start of the day
Okay.
from the organisers.
Did you?
So that's quite nice, yeah.
Oh, is that part of this scheme as well? You get free kit?
Yeah, we get a hat as well, which is
Blimey.
quite nice.
That's worth hundreds. Wow. Here's Abbott. Leaning again, walks into the shot, just plays that into the ground. So, so part of this scheme, you do some commentary as well?
Well, obviously I'm doing some commentary here, but we also get to interview some of the players. And at the start of the match, I got to ring the bell to signify that it's 5 minutes before
Okay.
the start of the match, which was quite cool.
Yeah. So when you say commentary, at the moment you see you're summarising, but are you
Okay.
actually going to do ball by ball? Would you like to do that?
I don't mind,
Well, we'll
whatever
do
you
that
think.
end of this over. Well, I tell
Yeah.
you what, I think we should.
Okay.
All right? So I'll do this rest of this over, and then you can
Yeah.
build yourself up for the next over. Here comes
Okay.
Abbott, bowls, and Leading cuts that one to backward a point, and there is no run. Score remains on 52 for 3. There you are on the live picture feed. Lewis, can you see
Yep.
yourself?
I can see myself.
There you go. You look quite important, actually. Sitting there, look at you. Right. Now, do you prefer playing or commentating, or haven't you done enough of this to really know?
Probably not. I mean, I do like playing, but commentary is always quite good.
Okay. Is Ben one of your favourite commentators from BBC Kent?
Definitely.
Is he? I'll ask you that off air when he's not around. See if you give me the same answer. Leaning works that up towards mid-off. And that is the end of the over. So 52 for 3. Kent looking for 169 to win this game. And we have had 11 overs. He's given a wave as well. Look at that. He's playing to the camera. And
Yep.
you're a natural. Right, all yours then.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at this. This is interesting.
So I'll tell you who's on the other end. Eddie Jack. Did you know that? Right. Okay. Right. Now, one of the rules with can I say a couple of things because
Yeah.
you've probably been told things. Two things is picture feed's great because everybody can see it, but if you're also doing BBC Sport online, you have to talk as though people can't see you.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that. Right. Off you go.
Mm. Who's bowling?
This is Eddie Jack.
Oh, Eddie Jack.
Yeah. So always say what you see. All right. Make it
Yeah.
as simple as possible. All right. Even if it seems obvious to you,
Yeah.
just say exactly what you see. All right.
Yeah.
So what's he doing at the moment?
He's bowling over the wicket, right-handed.
Right. So what's he doing?
He's running up to bowl. Oh, misses straight past the bat.
So that's Harry Finch batting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kent wicket keeper.
Yes. Who's your
Today.
favourite player in the Kent side?
He's not here today, but probably Tawanda Muai.
Okay.
I like him.
Playing for the Oval Invincibles, isn't
Yep.
he? Yeah. Did you see that shot of his the other night in the
Oh,
first
yeah.
game? Where he smacked it over cover.
Yeah.
God. Had everybody purring.
Yeah.
Right, off you go.
Running up to bowl here. Bowls a very nice ball, and I take the single.
And the total? Can you see the board?
Yeah, I can. I think. Oh,
So the total is?
well, I actually can't see that.
Right, okay. So it's 53 for 3.
53.
Okay,
for
you've got the
three.
screen here as well, which is a little bit behind, but you can always
Yeah.
add one. All right. I know this is all new to you, so don't worry, I'll help you through it.
Yeah,
don't
it's fine.
Right, so what's happening now? Say what you see.
Okay, so looking to bowl again. Same again, right arm over. He runs up to bowl. And lovely block.
No run. So what do you do? What do you do when you play? Are you an all-rounder?
No, I'm more of a batter and a wicket keeper.
Oh, right. Bit of a Harry Finch. Or a Sam Billings.
Yeah, Sam Billings is
You're
good.
a Sam Billings.
Yeah.
Right, okay. You got the same colour hair as Sam Billings.
Yeah.
No.
Taking quite a lot of run up, I think. It's gonna go up to bowl again. And they're calling for an LB, but umpire's not given.
Fairly full delivery there.
Yeah.
Jack leaning, trying to work that away on the leg side. We'll have a look for a replay. Have a look at the screen. It will come up in a minute because it's a bit behind the screen, so that should help you. So describe what you're seeing on the screen.
Well, he goes up to bowl, and it's going. It looks like it's going leg, so I think the umpire's got the right decision there.
Yeah, I agree. He's playing a little cross it, isn't he, sir?
Yeah. Running up to bowl again. To finish. Oh, and that's taking the wicket apart. Tries to go for the pull shot, and it rattles it away. Lovely bowl.
I didn't think it was that short. Got a bottom edge onto the stumps, yeah?
Try and play the silly shot of a pull shot, but it doesn't work against a bowler like that.
So, that is a big wicket as far as Hampshire are concerned. Eddie Jack getting amongst the wickets now. So 14 for Jack leaning off 21 deliveries. Sees Kent now 53 for 4. So, the state of the play, Lewis, what do you reckon?
I mean, at the moment, I think Kent just need to stop losing wickets in a way, but Hampshire, in their last batters, I think they understood that they needed to actually defend wickets and just build up their runs. And Kent aren't going for the big shots, but they do need to start getting singles, maybe some boundaries, because otherwise we're not just getting any runs and we're losing some wickets. And obviously it is a 50 over match, but we want to use up all those 50. And unlike Hampshire, we want to try and get runs, but they just lost all their wickets by 41 overs, I think.
Yeah,
so
still 9 overs remaining, yeah.
Yeah. And those 9 overs could get you 30 runs. It's like, you got to try and play with all your overs.
So who's the new batter then? Who's the new one?
Is that Jaden Denley?
It is, yeah.
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 I interviewed him earlier today.
What did you ask him?
Well, I asked him on his debut how he got a wicket maiden over on his first over bowling for Kent Spitfires, and he said that I mean, obviously he'd be quite exhilarated by that, but he was definitely glad that he went out and showed the world what he could do, basically. And at only 18, playing for this high of a level is very good.
Certainly is. So it's going to be Harry Finch to face Brad Will, who's changing in. Brad Will, quite expensive from that far in, 3 overs, none for 29. Taking the place of Kyle Abbott. I'll give you his figures in a moment. It's down the leg side. And that is a wide straight away to start Brad Will's 4th over. Kyle Abbott, 6 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 10.
That's good stats.
It is, isn't it?
Yep.
I think this is a good wicket to bowl on. If you've got the new hard ball,
Yeah.
I think this is pretty good. As the ball gets softer, it gets a little bit more hard work, but if you can get the wickets in early, it makes a difference. Here's Brad Will, right arm over. Bowls to Finch. Finch is playing a missing. Outside of the off stump. There is that spot, isn't there? On or just outside off stump, just short of a length.
It's
And
bouncing.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Have you played here before?
I mean, I played at Beckenham, like cricket sports grounds, a cricket match there. But I haven't actually played around here.
Not on this one.
No.
Would
I
you
mean,
would you like to?
yeah, definitely. It's a very nice ground, quite open as well.
Do you think this wicket will suit your batting? Comes on nicely, play through it.
It's running up again, and good shot. Doesn't take the run. and that is 54 for 4.
So where's that gone to? Don't forget to say where it's gone to. So where's that?
Oh yeah,
position?
third. Oh wait, point, sorry.
Mid on.
Mid on.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember all the
No,
positions.
that's all right. No, that's okay. It's no problem. Just trying to help you out. That's no problem.
Running up again. And balls, oh, and they're calling for an LB, but umpire's not given. Definitely doesn't look like one.
A bit high.
Yeah,
Back a bit.
definitely.
Bit tricky out there, isn't it?
Yeah. And also Kent losing the toss. They definitely wanted to bat first, but it's not ideal, but they did bowl very well. So all they need to do is just gain the runs and they'll be good. Right, over the wicket. And they won't take the run there. It's very good bowling this over actually.
Brad Wheel. Hampshire
Yep.
seamer. Took a bit of stick from Swanepoel, didn't he, early
Yeah.
on?
And I mean, Swanepoel did actually, he bowled a lot of the wickets for Kent and he did gain some runs until that silly catch out. It's not great. Runs up again. Bowls it and no. Locked out. They're just trying to not lose wickets at this point. Not taking many runs, but not losing any wickets.
That's right. O'Riordan for no score. Everson for 1. Swanepoel for 30. And Leaning for 14. The batters out so far. Brad Wheel just getting that ball just to nip back a fraction.
It's an interesting game, this. Runs up to bowl again. And they won't take the run.
So where's that gone out to?
Mid wicket.
Yep.
Yep.
So what about the temperature there? Because obviously fielding, well,
Yeah.
they haven't fielded for 50 overs, only did 41.
No, but
It's hard work, isn't it?
yeah, and I mean the heat out there is obviously very, very hot, and the weather has actually changed. But I think Kent kind of lost their concentration in those last few overs because I mean, with the heat being on you for that long, it does actually kind of get to your brain, and you kind of start lacking concentration. But Hampshire took advantage of that and gained most of their runs off of that.
So what's your highest score so far in cricket?
Probably when I got. So we still play pairs at under 11. And you have 4 overs with your pair. The highest that me and my pair have scored, I think, was 27 once.
Okay.
Against Orpington. That was a good match. We still lost, and they were a very good side, but we played well and just kept on taking the singles.
All yours again?
Yep.
It's Eddie Jack still.
Eddie Jack, right round the wicket, and no run.
So he's bowling to Jaden Denley.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jaden Denley, only 18, facing quite a good bowler, so see what happens here.
It's 18-year-old against 18-year-old. They're both 18.
Battle of the 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
Eddie Jack has bowled some good deliveries this match, I must say. Jaden Denley probably looking for some boundaries here. Eddie Jack bowls up and plays off, and no, he's not going to take the run.
So in under 11 cricket, you play in pairs, so you're guaranteed
Yeah.
4 overs batting. Is that how
Yeah,
it works?
so you don't go straight out if you lose a wicket, but then you do lose 6 runs for a wicket,
Okay.
and then 3 runs for 1 out you lose.
So is that 5 pairs, 4 overs? Is that how
Yeah.
it works? Okay.
Round the wicket again, right arm. Balls and no. Straight past Denley and to the wicket keeper.
Bit of bounce, banged it in.
Yep. The square, on the square it is bouncing. There's certain patches where it's kicking up a lot.
How are you against the short ball?
Well, usually I just go and try and take it early, because when it's up high, it's actually quite difficult to try and go and take runs. Bowls again, and Jaden Denley blocks sensibly, and straight back to the bowler. No run.
Don't forget to mention the score. Keep mentioning
Oh
the
yeah,
score.
54 for 4
Off.
against Spitfires, off of
We're in the 14th over. 13th over.
13
Yeah, that's right.
overs.
That's right. Always bear that in mind as well. Mention that
Yeah.
as well. That's it. So you're keeping up with play nicely. Don't forget to say where the ball goes,
Yep.
and yeah, that's good.
I'm running up again, around the wicket, right arm, and he edges it off, and they will take the single right there. Jaden Denley with a lovely shot. And that's the end of his Eddie's. Could have been a dot over, but got a single finally. And just gaining those runs slowly, not losing wickets. I think like this pair will do that quite well. And they've got to be confident, they've got to try and play on the front foot, especially against bowlers like this. Now over the wicket, right arm, as Jaden Denley is on non-striker's end. And he bowls the delivery, and they won't take a single. Nice shot actually, but fielder just cleans it up.
So into the over.
Yep.
Score is?
Score is 55 for 4 off of 14 overs.
And Hampshire at this stage were around the 37-38 mark. So Kent are ahead. Hampshire had already lost 4 wickets as well. So both sides have lost 4 wickets at this corresponding stage.
And I mean, Hampshire got all of their runs towards the end of the innings. At the start they lost so many wickets and didn't actually gain that many runs. So Kent are doing actually quite well for the circumstances that they're in. Bowling round the wicket, right arm. And no run. Jaden Denley playing it sensibly.
You over from?
Yeah.
Brad Wheel. Yeah. Here you are. Look, here you are on the picture feed. Look at that. You can see. You can actually see below that bar.
Can I?
You're perfect height. Got a nice little window there, and you can see.
Yep. And he's running up to bowl again, right arm over. And blocked out by Jaden Denley. Yet again, it's a sensible shot. He's playing it, and they're just trying to not lose wickets. Right thing to do.
So Kent from here need just another 114 runs to win this game.
Off of only 36 overs.
Yep.
And running up to bowl again. Oh, and he plays a lovely shot, but it's cleaned up by the fielder. Great stop.
Toby Abbott there.
Yep.
Backward a point. Didn't see much of him today, unfortunately. Didn't
No.
trouble the scorers. Have you eaten here? Have you been around one or two of them?
Yeah.
Which one did you go to?
I went to the place over there. I can't remember
The
the name
burger
of it.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there as
Burger
well.
place.
Yeah, yeah.
Running up to bowl again. Right arm over. And he bowls, great delivery, and they're going to take the single. This might be close. No. And backed up.
Joseph Eklund coming in quickly at mid-on.
Yep.
I think there was slight hesitation there, just initially, from Denley.
Yep. They're not playing confidently. They're not trying to not lose wickets, but they're not really prepared for making those singles, because the Hamps are playing a very tight field. And now over the wicket, right arm. He bowls and blocked out by Finch.
So Kent are playing here on Sunday next?
Yep,
Are you coming to that one?
Yeah, I am against Middlesex,
Mhm.
I believe. And a lefty like Denley is always very awkward for a bowler, and I feel like could help us. And now over the wicket, right arm again. Runs up and blocked out by Finch again. Kent are just looking stable, but they're not looking to get many runs. They're just looking to not lose wickets. And it's the sensible thing to do, obviously, I've said, but we do need runs, and we want to try and use all of our 50 overs, unlike the Hamp. And that's the end of that over.
Lewis, I think your time might be up.
Okay.
I think you've done a few overs. Have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, it was fun.
Very good. You were getting better and better as we were going on. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely haven't got the deep voice that some of the commentators have, though.
You don't need a deep voice. You just need an understanding of cricket, which you have. And hopefully you've learnt one or two things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'll take over. Eddie Jack bowls. Oh, gosh, there's a nasty delivery there to Jaden Denley. Hits him high on the bat handle. Lewis, thank you very much. Well done. Another side to your cricketing career. Ben Watts is back.
I can't notice the difference. There's not much of a deeper voice.
What a nasty delivery that was.
Wow, that was a brute, wasn't it? Well, that was Lewis, who's doing the junior journo competition for Kent Cricket today. They got, I think, a different youngster for each of their home games in the One Day Cup. So
good idea.
They don't all get that chance, though. Like Lewis did to get a...
He pulls that away. It's in the air. It's going down towards Abbott. It's going over Abbott's head, and it's going for 6. Just wide of fine leg. Bit of a top edge there, but it flew and it kept going. And that's 6 runs to Denley.
Yeah, as soon as that came off the bat, I thought, oh, 2 men out on the fence. Going to be in the game here, but as you say, just kept going. All the way for 6 runs. So, well played by Jaden Denley, who, of course, Lewis spoke to before the start of the game. And I think he'll be jumping in on my interviews afterwards as well. Probably asking better questions too. So, that's what happened last year. It's getting very much overshadowed by the youngsters. But yeah, little commentary masterclass for him there from you, Kev.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's a cut away, not timed, bounces away to Fletcher Middleton, a point, no run.
You're right though, as he felt like he was getting into that the more and more.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
I think it would be a bit daunting as well, like when we were pointing out that the commentary cam was on our commentary position. I think if I was 11 years old, that would be pretty daunting, seeing my face on the screen.
Took it by his stride.
Yeah, I did.
Hey.
What a pro.
Like he just brushed it off as if it wasn't happening.
Absolutely.
Me, every time that thing turns around at me, it scares the life out. I hide behind the curtain. Here comes Eddie Jack, who's round the wicket. It's a low full toss. It's pushed by Denley up to mid. And there is no run. 62 for 4, the score.
And of course, these little passages of play are sometimes the trickiest to commentate on as well, when there's not necessarily much happening. Obviously, there was the wicket Jack leaning that he described, that he tried to pull away off Eddie Jack and got the bottom edge onto the stumps. But because of that and the 3 wickets for Kyle Abbott early on, Kent very much just trying to survive at the moment and negotiate this little period before trying to build back into their innings. Still got over 100 runs to get for victory.
Here's Eddie Jack. Drive, and that's a good stop there from Fletcher Middleton. That stopped 4 runs. They will pick up 1 though. But that was racing along that outfield. Fletcher Middleton diving low to his left. 63 for 4.
Yeah, Harry Finch, who's just coming onto strike here, the epitome of that kind of mentality that Kent have had in the last few overs since he's come to the crease. 20 deliveries he's faced for just a single run.
Comes in again, Eddie Jack, right arm over. Tall, that's a length ball. Finch is forward. Bounces out to point. This time it's Toby Abbott doing the fielding. 16 overs gone then. 63 for 4 are Kent, and they need another 106 from here.
He mentioned Jack Leaning was the last man out for Kent, and I was actually reading out an email from Tom, who got in touch with us on kentcricket@gmail.com before the end of the Hampshire innings when Kyle Abbott was ran out. But he was saying he says, I don't believe we're related, much to the disappointment of my cricket club teammates at Mogdor Wanderers. He says, thanks to the football management game and social media and the internet these days, he says, I'm aware that Jack's father Andy was a professional goalkeeper back in the day and then a coach. As around the wicket comes Wheel, defended away into the cover area. He said, is there any other current top-level player in world sport who shares the name Leaning? I can't think of one. I can't either, to be honest. It's a quite unique surname in that sense. But thanks for getting in touch with us, Tom. Yeah, Jack Leaning was certainly trying to dig in alongside Harry Finch in a difficult situation for Kent. Saw off the latter end of the Kyle Abbott spell. 3 wickets for 10 in the interim is 6 overs. As Wheel bowls and it's edged past the slip fielder and away down to third man for 4. Feels like there was one of those in the Hampshire innings as well, where it flashed in between the slip fielder and the wicketkeeper. Pressed, moving to his right, but couldn't get a hand on it. And Jaden Denley off the back foot has nicked it away down to the boundary. The third man is quite wide, and so it went pretty fine behind the keeper for 4 runs. So Denley picking up a 6 in the previous over, picks up a boundary here, moves now on to 13. Finch still just 1 from 21 deliveries, so Jaden Denley just starting to up the scoring again for Kent. Just feels like, in as much as anything, they've been really starved of singles, and Hampshire have been buzzing around in the field in the last few overs, trying to make it as difficult as they possibly can for the Kent batters out there, and certainly really putting the squeeze on. Haven't been any freebie runs out there, and Kent haven't been able to rotate the strike in the same way perhaps that Hampshire did a little bit when the 2 openers first came out of the attack. Wheel around the wicket, bowls to Jaden Denley. That's a glorious cricket shot, square of the wicket for 4. On the drive, beats the dive of the cover fielder and away to the rope. So 2 boundaries in the over. That one certainly more convincing than the first. And he moves on to 17, and Kent are 71 for 4, and it's less than 100 now, 98 runs to win.
That's when this pitch is lovely as a batter, isn't it? Nice bounce, comes on nicely, just use the pace of the ball. Just lean into it, don't try and hit it too hard.
Yeah, neatly played, Jaden Denley. This one's nudged back up towards mid-on. Dot ball from Wheel. Dot 4 dots so far in the over. From Wheel, who's the most expensive of the Hampshire bowlers so far, but that was because Swanepoel took a bit of a liking to him in the early stages, since swap ends rather. Wonder if it'll be too long before we see Dom Kelly, or maybe the spin Felix Organ. As Wheel bowls again on the stumps, Jaden Denley in behind this one, playing defensively, end of the over. Kent Spitfires have moved on to 71 for 4 after 17 overs. At this stage, Hampshire were 54 for 4.
And the run rate required is a fraction under 3 and over from here. It was just over 3 and over for a while. So no real pressure from that point of view. So Wheel has none for 39 from 6. We've got a bowling change at the far end. Is it Dom Kelly?
I think it looks like Kelly possibly.
Yeah. Right on medium pace. Giving Eddie Jack a bit of a break.
Yeah,
Eddie
5 overs, 1 for 19 for him.
Yeah. Jack leaning bold, tried to pull a ball which wasn't really short. And I think on this pitch, that's a bit of a risk. Here's Eddie Jack then from that far end bowls, and nice push into the covers by Finch, brings him a single. And the total moves on to 72 for 4. Well, I don't know about you, but I came here this morning thinking, oh, this would be a run fest.
This is a different type of game.
It's not been that at all.
To what we were expecting, that's for sure.
Yeah. At times, batting has looked tricky. Round the wicket this time to the left-hander Denley. Denley drives straight to Middleton at point. A little bit of width there from Kelly.
Yeah, these two will know each other from England's under-19 cricket.
Yeah.
Kind of faced each other a bit in the nets or junior level.
Yeah. both 18 years of age. Field changes with Felix Organ coming from the leg side over to the off to strengthen that area, with Fletcher Middleton dropped to the deep. As Kelly comes in again and bowls, and Denley drives, and Middleton straight away in play, away to our left. And he's 73 for 4 now. Kent. Still a lovely day. The odd bit of breeze, not much.
Yeah, I must admit, actually, it felt a lot breezier. I think we, Marquee were quite sheltered from it, but when I was waiting for ages by the pizza van, it actually felt quite a bit breezy, which I think is where some people have struggled to hear the tannoy too.
Trying to whip that away on the leg side, gets wrapped on the pad, Finch. They'll pick up a leg by.
When we were off there in the midpoint of the game, we had 3 Kent fans come up to us and go, "We can't hear the tannoy." Well, nothing to do with us. Everyone can hear us fine on the stream. And wherever you're listening in the world, or in the UK.
Yeah. We'll just fix the tannoy, we'll be commentating.
Via the BBC Sport app and website. Yeah, quite. I did pass it on though. So maybe they've turned the volume up. But I think it's the wind as much, anything's making it difficult to hear.
Kelly to Jaden, who just puts that wide of mid-off. They'll come through for a single. Denley moves on to 1975 for 4. Much quieter period in the Kent innings now, while Swanepoel was out there for 9 overs, just under 9 overs, hit 30 off 25. He was trying to hit the bowlers off length and line. He succumbed, and everybody else just tried to play normally, which is why the scoring rate is a little slower, as that's driven by Finch. Up towards mid-off, they'll come through for another single. And Finch moves on to 3.
I think that's the first over really where we've seen the strike rotated in such a way that we have there with a number of singles. Looks like Kyle Abbott might be coming back on here. With Wheel bowling 3 overs, I think, did he from this end? And well, Abbott's bowled 6 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 10 so far. It looks like Hampshire have decided that they could do with another breakthrough or 2 if possible. Didn't like the way that Kent were just easing the strike and rotating with the singles in the previous over, the skipper. So Abbott's going to come on for a little burst, maybe a 2 over burst here, see if he can get a breakthrough.
Yeah, can't leave it too long now. Yeah, Brad Wheel, first 3 overs went for 29, the next 3 went for 10 this end.
Yeah, so didn't do too much wrong at all from his second spell. I feel like this is a need to take wickets and an opportunity, so they've gone with 2 slips and Abbott back into the attack. Immediately he's beaten the outside edge. Harry Finch stays where he is. Umpire stays still as well. Hampshire and Kyle Abbott thought they had a wicket straight away. But the umpire unmoved, and Harry Finch likewise.
Yeah, difficult to tell from this distance and this angle.
It's just gone through. I mean, beauty of a delivery, but from the stream it looked like there was space between the inside edge of the bat and the ball. Possibility that maybe it just took a very fine touch, but the umpire didn't hear it. Oh, there's an inside edge from Finch. This next one just trying to survive here and playing it out towards point.
It does look like a nip back, doesn't it?
So yeah, but straight back into the attack and almost with a wicket, but certainly causing problems again straight away. Main man for Hampshire. So Finch so far is playing an almost test match-like innings, or not Bazball, but he's got 3 from 26 deliveries as he faces this one from Abbott. Tucked it away into the onside. Looked like he wanted a quick single there, but Jaden Denley was showing very little intent upon trying to get up the other end. Perfectly happy at the non-striker's end while Kyle Abbott is bowling, seemingly. Who would blame him? No, you're all right, mate. You stay there. So here comes Abbott once more. Finch a little shimmy down the pitch and manages to defend the ball into the ground. And into the covers. 76 for 4. Kent like Hampshire losing 4 early wickets. Reardon and Everson cheaply for none and 1. Swanepoel for 30. He was aggressive at one end. Eddie Jack getting the wicket of Jack Gleaning. So 3 wickets for Abbott up top as there was for Swanepoel. 2 South African. Managed to get the most out of this pitch with the ball. Abbott all dot balls in the over so far is in again, and Finch forward and playing defensively into the onside. It's almost a slightly peculiar situation in a one-day game where you, as a batter, are almost saying, right, we'll just see off Abbott. We've got enough time in the game to play defensively against Abbott and then do our work elsewhere. How often do you see 3 slips as well in the game in the 19th over of a 50-over match? Certainly wouldn't have expected that at the start of the day. As Abbott bowls to Finch and he sees off the over. It's a maiden for Kyle Abbott. But he doesn't manage to get the breakthrough that Hampshire were looking for. Almost had it, very first ball of the over. The one that nipped back but went through in between bat and pad. So Kyle Abbott's latest figures, 7 overs, 5 maidens, 3 for 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to how well he's bowling. He's got 3 slips. It's not quite doing as much for him as it was in his first spell, but because he's bowling so accurately, he can afford to take fielders either from the ring or out in the deep to actually try and keep the pressure on by having those extra slips. So it's very much because Abbott is bowling very, very accurately indeed. Here's Dom Kelly round the wicket. Denley drives. That's a great diving stop by Felix Organ at backward of point. So Kent from here need another 93 runs, and that rate is still from here on in just a fraction under 3 and over.
Just for Martin, who's getting in touch on the emails, I think if there's a clicking noise on the live stream, it might just be the flapping of various bits of our marquee into the scaffolding. Is there?
Oh, he's edged. He has edged. And he's gone. Denley goes for 19, and Kent a 76 for 5.
Dom Kelly joins in. Full delivery outside the off stump, just a little push from Denley at that delivery. And he's caught the outside edge, Kelly. Good catch by Brown, and Hampshire, well, they brought Kyle Abbott back to try and break through the partnership and to get them the wicket. But actually it's young Dom Kelly. And he's managed to get the breakthrough. So Kent still with 169, looking a fair way away on 76 for 5 now. And this innings almost mirroring the one before. Certainly something out there for the bowlers, which you don't normally expect perhaps. Here at Beckenham. But Dom Kelly gets his England under-19 teammate out. Denley out for 19. And, well, what a time for Ekansh Singh, a fellow teenager and newly signed to a rookie contract at Kent Spitfires, to be coming into the crease at number 7.
So his only first-team cricket has been the last 2 List A games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was admittedly in those games batting up the order at number 3, so the slight change to the team with Marcus O'Riordan coming in and opening the batting for Kent in this one has pushed him down the order.
So another 18-year-old.
Yeah, another 18-year-old.
Think of it.
Well, another just glimmer of hope really for Hampshire, bearing in mind that now it's just Charlie Stobo, Grant Stewart, Matt Parkinson and Nathan Gilchrist to come for Kent. Finch is digging in, 3 or 30, but hasn't been scoring many runs.
Is Kelly then over the wicket to Singh. Singh gets wrapped on the pad. Ball goes down towards square leg. he signalled a leg by. Looks like he just came across that a fraction, across his stumps, but umpire deciding that's going down the leg side anyway. Going to look to play straighter than that initially. Just watching that again on the live picture feed, and yeah, it's going down. That's pretty fair enough. Probably going down a bit more than I thought. 76 for 5 though. Here's Kelly. That's down the leg side. That'll be a wide. 78 for 5. This game's far from over yet. There's a bit of work to do, and perhaps 168 all out is perhaps a bit better total than it looked at the halfway stage.
Yeah, it just shows the value of Tom Kelly's 32 and the 37 from Kyle Abbott, and how much easier it is to bat when the balls, because of course there's one from each end, go soft.
Yeah. Kelly in again. That's straighter. Finch has shown a lot of respect while he's been batting. He's got 3 off 31 deliveries, and probably doing the right thing here. Just get a bit more softness into these balls, and you're right, Ben. The partnerships, such as they were coming lower later in the Hampshire innings. They weren't particularly big partnerships, but they were certainly better than they were in the first half of the innings. Here's Kelly again and bowls, and work to mid-wicket, fielded by Felix Organ. Score remains on 78 for 5.
It's such a peculiar situation, with one that we're not used to seeing in games of cricket here at Beckenham in particular.
Could be a good one on Sunday then.
I guess Middlesex will arrive with the benefit of knowing how this is played.
Kelly again bowls. Finch works that away into the gap behind square on the leg side. 79 for 5.
You would imagine that some of the young seamers for Middlesex might fancy it a little bit. Got some young lads who bowl at a decent pace. The likes of the left arm of Cornwell, just come into their team, and then Bamber and Brooks. So Abbott then, he's going to bowl his 8th over. 7 of his overs have been made, and so far this one isn't going to be, because it's been cracked away on the offside by Harry Finch. They come back for 2. So Finch moves on to 6, and the Kent score to 81 for 5.
Finch is quite key here.
Yeah, I think so. I think Harry Finch is potentially the big wicket here for Hampshire in this, well, certainly in this situation right now, as he defends it away. Kent's point of view, they probably want him to, well, in the way that I was sort of suggesting with Jack Leaning, be the one to kind of anchor the rest of the innings. Guys that are coming in elsewhere, the likes of Grant Stewart likes to hit shots. Gansh Singh is obviously an inexperienced batter. Charlie Stobo, the rounder, Matt Parkinson, nuggety batter. I think it was the number 11. Feels like Finch needs to make at least a reasonable little contribution here if Kent are going to get 169 to win the game. He's having to try and fend off Kyle Abbott right now as well. Playing this one out towards 3rd man for a single, so this could be a little moment and a possible opportunity for Hampshire as well. Gansh Singh, in the early stages of his career and also the early stages of this innings, having faced just a single ball so far, the 18-year-old, he's now going to face up to Kyle Abbott, who's got 3 for 13 so far from his 7.5 overs. So the right-handed Singh, 3 slips behind him. We'll face this one from Kyle Abbott. He's driving pleasantly up towards mid-on. Oh, for stop. No run on the slight misfield. So perhaps Abbott just going slightly fuller with his length on that occasion. Looks like Singh's bang out of his crease. Trying to encourage himself to get right forward to Abbott, who's in and bowling to him. That one's been left alone outside the off stump. Good piece of judgment from the teenager. One more to go in this 8th over for Abbott. 21. The Kent reply so far, 82 on the board, but 5 wickets down. Just as Hampshire themselves were 70 for 5, 77 for 6 and 79 for 7 before the partnership between Jack and Kelly, and then Tom Kelly and Abbott himself, who beats the bat, and through it goes to the wicketkeeper. But Ekansh Singh survives probably the biggest test of his first team career today. Those few balls from an in-form Kyle Abbott. And 21 overs gone, 82 for 5, Kent. Still looking to score just shy of, well, in fact, 3 runs and over is the required rate for them to get up to 169.
Actually, was 70 for 5 at this stage. Chat going on between Abbott, Nick Gubbins and Ben Brown. How many more will Kyle Abbott bowl? Will they save him?
That's the thing. Do you gamble? I thought it would perhaps be a 2 over stint. Do you save 2 up the sleeve?
It's not quite getting the same purchase out of the pitch. Don Kelly will continue from the City end. 2 overs, 1 for 6. Bowling to Finch. Kyle Abbott's calling for a drink, so it might be a little bit of a break for him. Just turned away on the leg side. Neatly done for a single. Doesn't need to do any more than that at the moment. 83 for 5. Kent need another 86 from this point. He's still got food. Is that a 2-course pizza?
It was a sizable pizza. I ate half of it while you and Lewis were on there.
There's Singh next ball. He's in behind that one neatly enough. Stop ball. So 83 for 5. Around the grounds, while you're eating your pizza, we know that Derbyshire have already beaten Lancashire by 9 wickets, chasing 99. That's been a result for quite a while. Also in this group, Durham taking on Somerset. Somerset were 241 for 9 from their 50. Durham in reply and Singh's forward, plays that back to the bowler. Are 63 for 4 in the 17th, so they need another 179 with 6 wickets remaining from just under 34 overs. The Derbyshire-Lancashire game, of course, was also in this group. So in Group B, Essex 290 for 9, Leicestershire in reply 51 for 1 in the 12th. Need another 240 from just over 38 overs. Singh drives, won't beat mid-off, but he will get off the mark. And Kent move on to 84 for 5. So,
you're just noticing in that Essex game that it's more of our England under 19s doing well. Noah Thane and Charlie Ellison getting 50s in that one for Essex. So they've got some talented young boys making their way in this comp.
There's Don Kelly. Singh pushes that to point. And there's no run. So Yorkshire were 261 all out against Sussex, who were 82 for 2 in the 18th. They need another 180 from 32 and a half overs with 8 wickets remaining. Nottinghamshire 274 for 9. Glamorgan 89 without loss after 14. Need another 186 from 36 overs with all wickets standing. It's Kelly again. Bowls. Singh drives into the gap just wide of mid-on. Theatrical piece of fielding by Eddie Jack.
I was about to compliment him on said piece of fielding. Thought it was a bit over the top.
85 for 5 in the 22nd. That's the end of the 22nd.
Yeah, I'm not sure it ever quite had the timing from Singh to... Oh, sorry, from Harry Finch to go past the man. So Finch will keep his strike for the next over. And would it be Kyle Abbott? No. It is just going to be a 2-over stint. So we're going to see Eddie Jack here. Or Brad Wheel. Certainly going to keep it all seam up, Hampshire. I think it is going to be Brad Wheel coming back on. Yeah, at the moment Hampshire just flip-flopping between Wheel and Abbott from this town end of the ground. Crystal Palace training ground behind him. Brad Wheel over the hedge as he bowls to Harry Finch. He's in behind this one, the Kent wicketkeeper and defending. He's faced 40 deliveries so far, Finch, for just 9 runs. But it's been what the situation's perhaps dictated with those wickets falling around him. He's had to fend off a bit of Kyle Abbott as well. He bowled 8 overs, 5 maidens, 3 for 13. Extraordinary figures in a one-day game of cricket. As Wheel bowls on the hip, leg side. Finch takes 1. They opt not to go for another one. Eddie Jack was zooming in from fine leg, so they just take 1. Finch to 10. Got Ekansh Singh out there with him. And in the same way, perhaps you were just seeing our junior journo from Kent Cricket Lewis today through those overs from 10 to 15. Harry Finch just having a word with Ekansh Singh, trying to help his younger teammate negotiate the situation. He's facing Wheel here, Singh, and letting it go outside the off stump.
Bounce.
What a good bit of bounce and carry from Brad Wheel.
Yeah, the secret here is to put him under as much pressure as possible. What is he, 1 off 8? Get that up to a couple of 2 or 3 more balls. You never know.
Yeah, a little bit of nip back as well, perhaps from Wheel there. Singh's used to batting at the top of the order in second team cricket, junior cricket. Judd schoolboy in Tunbridge as this one's defended away up towards mid-off. So perhaps not the worst man for the situation when you just need to stick in there. It's a fairly sound technique. Maybe that one just scuttled through a little bit lower from Wheel. Here he comes again. Once more, Ekansh Singh is happy to let it go outside the off stump. Kent in no rush here, unlike Derbyshire, as you were telling us. Kevin James getting to 100 for 1 inside 20 overs to win their game against Lancashire, who were bowled out on exactly 20 overs for 99. You'd be forgiven thinking that was a game of T20 cricket. So I've just been attacked by my own scoreboard, blowing in the breeze. It's actually quite nice in and around the ground. There's a shout for LBW. It's dropped away on the leg side. Umpire is going to give leg byes, so no bat involved, but perhaps the way the ball has dropped behind square on the leg side suggests that it was going down past the leg stump anyway. Just about to see the replay. Yeah, reasonable shout. Probably would have been umpire's call either way. Singh gets the benefit of the doubt and singled in the over for Kent, who are 87 for 5. 23 overs gone. Yeah, lots whilst the spectators just scattered around the various parts of the ground, perimeter, and I think it's maybe 27 degrees or something out there, but it feels slightly cooler because of the breeze. That's the sort of dangerous sunburn type weather.
Here's Don Kelly then to continue from the city end, stings on the back foot, hits that out into the covers, and he's now one of 12 deliveries.
Yeah, these two aren't going anywhere anytime soon in terms of the run rate. It's not ticking over. That was what Denley and Finch had just started to do before Denley got out, actually. Just started to rotate the strike and tick the score over. Whereas that wicket, fifth one to fall in the Kent innings, just forced a bit of a dropping of anchor again.
82 needed. Kelly bowls. That's tucked down to fine leg. Will bring Singer single. Kent on to 88 for 5. Be interesting to, after when we speak to our respective sides, what they've made of the wicket today. Interesting one.
Yeah, certainly not a typical Beckenham pitch.
Yeah, it's looked hard work, hasn't it? Most of the time. There's been some good bowling. Kelly again, right arm medium pacer. Forward is Finch. Remains on 10 from 42 deliveries.
Yeah, you were saying about when we saw a bit of Matt Parkinson earlier on that didn't really look like it was spinning that much for him.
No, it didn't seem to.
And then haven't seen any spin so far from Hampshire. Been all seam.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work out if they can keep this going.
At some point they probably would have to.
Might have to, yeah. Kelly bowls. Again, it's a length ball played into the ground by Finch. Yeah, just the 4 bowlers used to keeping Felix Organ back. Obviously feeling that spin isn't the way to go at the moment.
I guess Prest bowls a bit of spin as well, doesn't he? So.
Prest, yeah. Bit of Nick Gubbins, maybe.
Yeah, could bring himself into the game. Update on the way here for BBC Radio Kent. Sussex and Surrey as well. Pulled away by Finch. Yeah, slightly nervy game at the moment because Hampshire have managed to do what Kent did to them earlier on, taking top order wickets. At one stage Hampshire 24 for 4 but managed to get their way up to 168 all out. Kent in reply were 53 for 4, and then the latest wicket to fall, Jaden Denley, the young nephew of Joe, out for 19. Swanepoel so far the top scorer with 30, and Kyle Abbott has been the key man for Hampshire, taking 3 for 13 from his 8 overs, bowling 5 of those without conceding a single run in the 6 deliveries. So he's been immaculate. Got 2 younger bowlers, or certainly one in Dom Kelly in the attack at the moment, Brad Wheel, and also Jack bowling for Hampshire. They're trying to take some Kent wickets. Kent just trying to manoeuvre their way to 169 to win the game, but at the moment 88 for 5, almost at the midway point of the innings. And elsewhere at York, Sussex chasing 262 to win that game, 103 for 2, so going along pretty nicely. 37 for Tia Keeper and Clark, the captain, at the top of the order, 44 not out. So Sussex going pretty well in that run chase. Commentary of both of those matches continues via the BBC Sport app and website. So Wheel to continue. It's Finch on strike for Kent. He's driving pleasantly up towards mid-off, where Eklund moves to his left and does the fielding. And one more run to the total. It's in fact 90 for 5 now, Kent. And Singh back on strike.
This is a very slow and measured partnership, this, isn't it?
Indeed. Trying not to take on too many risks at all, really. Happy to just take their time as it's defended away by a catch Singh into the offside. Yeah, there was clearly with Bear Swanepoel at the top of the order a bit of an intent to try and chase the lower total than we'd expect here at Beckenham Hard. But since Bear Swanepoel's gone out, everyone has pretty much just tried to sit in just tick things over. In truth, as this one's defended away out towards the covers, there hasn't been a lot of ticking over, it's been a lot of dot balls. Run rate is 3.7, but only 3 and over required. So again, aren't in any kind of rush. Did the hard work with the ball. Almost in a way feels like they're playing for the ball to get that bit softer. When we saw Hampshire put on some runs towards the back end of their innings and maybe life became that bit easier. Wheel's got 2 slips, bowling to Ekhansh Singh. He's turning this one away out towards mid-wicket. Felix Organ with the floppy white hat on does the fielding.
At what point did Hampshire introduce spin? Halfway nearly, and not one over of slow bowling.
And at some point, if they're going to bat this way, they have to go to a 5th bowler. Driven away by Ekhansh Singh, his best shot so far in the game. Gloriously played with a full flourish of the bat through the covers. And away for 4 runs. Just over pitching there, Wheel, with a bit of width. Ekhansh Singh batting well outside of his crease. And latching onto it.
It's good, isn't it, when he's been tied down a bit to still be in a good position to play that shot. They put quite well at him as well, but there was width there. He's played that nicely.
Wheel to him again. Drags his length back, and Singh this time playing defensively into the covers. Into the over. And Kent Hart 94 for 5 at the halfway stage.
Drinks? Yes, I think we are.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. We didn't get that last time. We are this time.
I think it was because at 23 overs there'd been a wicket or something and the umpire popped off for his little comfort break, so they used that as the midway point of the innings.
So 75 needed from the final 25 overs, exactly 3 and over. Doesn't look particularly tough, does it? But when you've lost 5 wickets, you can't really afford to lose another one too quickly after this drinks break.
Yeah, it's almost the fear of losing a couple of quick wickets that's dictating the way Kent are batting at the moment. Having obviously lost 3 to Kyle Abbott and then a couple more with Jack getting rid of Leaning, Kelly removing Jaden Denley, so 1 each for the under-19 internationals. Yeah, Kent are batting almost with a stance that we're quite happy to bat all day and take this as deep if we have to. They're in absolutely no rush to get those 75 more runs required. But as I mentioned earlier on, there is a danger that if they were to lose a couple of wickets, that in the way that obviously Hampshire were able to late on just negotiate their score beyond 150 and up towards 168, fear would be from a Kent point of view that they're not able to replicate that, so they need to try and keep those wickets in hand as much as possible. And maybe when Hampshire have to go to their 5th bowler or the balls get a little bit softer, it's at that point that we will see Kent try and push things on. Yeah, we're hiding away from the live stream behind our scaffolding in the marquee today. As Kevin was pointing out earlier on, our junior journo Lewis was the perfect height to view underneath the bars. And like Kevin and I peering over the top. Lovely to be here though at Beckenham, I must say. One of the things I really do enjoy about this competition is outground cricket. Blackpool was an absolute picture on Sunday, 2,000 people in watching. Not sure we got quite as many here at Beckenham today, but it's a decent crowd.
What do you reckon?
1,000 or so? Maybe 1.5. I think the best thing about Beckenham is just people can just mill around. I saw my dad earlier briefly and was saying, "Oh, where have you been sat?" And he said, "Well, nowhere in particular, to be honest. Just been wandering around." It's the perfect sort of ground to do that. Right, we're going to see some spin.
Yeah, finally. If you watch on the live picture feed, the man to the left of the screen who's in the white top is former Kent opener Simon Hinks, who's match manager today. Talking to Ian Gould, former Middlesex, Sussex and England one-day wicketkeeper.
That's where all the magic happens, in that box there, in the live stream.
So Organ bowls and Singh drives out into the covers, fielded by Tom Prest. Is that where all the operations are?
Yeah, not the recycling bin, but the the production truck.
The shot just moves over with the production truck more in the frame. That's the driven out wide of mid-off. Lovely shot. 2 runs for Harry Finch. Takes the Kent total to 96 for 5. 96 for 5. So Felix Organ, will there be any turn from him? I'm not sure there will be. Don't see any really from Parkinson. Just the one over from Jack Leaning from that far end. Goes for the reverse sweep, misses. Probably the first time Finch has looked to do something unorthodox in the 48 balls that he's faced.
I wasn't sure if he kind of smothered it with his gloves. Kind of batting on off stump, admittedly, so may well be that he was outside the line.
Drives back to the bowler.
Yeah, he was well outside the line.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. Even another set of stumps, probably. So from the city end then. Felix Organ again. Forward is Finch. Score remains on 96 for 5. Remember, 169 is the target for Kent. Not a huge one. 73 needed from here. 5 wickets in hand. 4 defensive again from Finch. Ends that over. Morgan's gone for 2 off it. 26 overs gone. 24 to do.
Just seeing Nick Krend, cricket journalist, walk past our commentary position. Loves a trip to Beckenham. Although admittedly I think he's perhaps seen a few less runs than he was hoping to see, having made the visit in previous years in this competition, and as we mentioned, it's been a bit of a run fest at times. A different type of ball game today. And we're going to see a change in the bowling from this town end of the ground. And Eddie Jack is going to swap ends. So the 19 quick bowler. He's going to replace Wheel, who has now himself got through 7 or 8 overs. 8 overs from Brad Wheel, none for 45. So Abbott and Wheel have just a couple left each. So Hampshire must rely on their 2 youth internationals and spinner Felix Organ to try and potentially take them a couple of wickets here in this middle part of the innings. So far, Jack 5 overs 1 for 19. Kelly 4 overs 1 for 11. So neither have been particularly expensive. Sort of few wides from Jack. Just slid a couple a little bit leg side and Leaning clipped one of them away for 4. What can he do here against Singh? Right in behind this one, Akansh Singh defensively up towards mid-on.
See on the screen there, this partnership worth 20 runs has taken 41 deliveries. Together at 96 for 5 for the fall of Jaden Denley.
Yeah, so 96 for 5, the Kent score. Singh gets a Yorker from Jack and keeps it out. Yeah, it was in the 20th over when Denley departed. Kent 76 for 5, and into the 27th now. Singh taking his time out there, playing each ball on its merits. And that was a good one. Fired in by Jack and kept out. 91 on his back, bright yellow numbering. Tall bowler Jack. Oh, in the air, and it's to cover, and Ekansh Singh goes. And Hampshire get their breakthrough. 96 for 6. And this nervy run chase continues. And the 18-year-old Ekansh Singh departs. Saw the delivery there to get on the drive. But instead, he's hit it in the air to Nick Gubbins, the cover. And Hampshire get themselves another breakthrough. Singh goes for 6.
Well, I think this game's going to be a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. It's a fascinating situation now. Finch really is. Stobo can bat, we know that. We saw him bat in the championship game at the Utilita. So, still work for Hampshire to do here, but the options for Kent have just become one less. 6 of 22 deliveries. Yeah, no real pressure to get on with it, but just a few balls eaten up though.
Yeah, I just feel like they've got very bogged down in this middle part of the innings, and I get why to an extent. Finch has faced 51 for his 14, so it's slower than Singh. He's important, but you know, somebody's got to score the bulk of these runs.
It's easy to say from a distance, but there just doesn't seem to be any urgency. I mean, you can defend and still look as though you're looking for a single, which brings the field in a fraction, so that when you push it a little harder, then you know, there's a chance it's going to go past the inner ring. At the moment, everybody's just playing it like a 4-day game. You know, it's just if it's a good ball, I'll just defend it and won't look to do anything.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
You know, you can still look busy, even though you're defending. But I'm not sure the batters look particularly busy.
No, I'd agree with that. And the fact that they got 2 slips as well in play. There's plenty of spaces out there. It's a big surface, a big playing field here at Beckenham. So Stobo is the new man, facing Jack. It's on his hip, and he's turning this one away behind square on the onside, and they're going to come back for 2. Wheel putting a hand on it just to make sure that ball wasn't going to go all the way for 4. When was the last time we had a boundary? It must have been the 4 for Ekansh Singh. But other than that, there's not been too many boundaries at all in the last, 10 overs since Jaden Denley got out. 1 boundary. Stobo in behind this next delivery from Jack, playing defensively up towards mid-on.
Yeah, Stobo may look to be a little busier at the crease. I think sometimes the situation can just suck you in when, yeah, the 2 batters will be chatting to each other and saying, look, make sure we don't lose any wicket. We're not under any pressure. There's only 3 and over, blah, blah, blah. But then you can forget that actually, you know, running between the wickets is an important part of just keeping the scoreboard ticking along. You don't have to do a lot to do that, but as I say, they haven't really looked that busy.
Yeah, Harry Finch is the sort of cricketer that you would expect to be busy when he plays. Left alone by Stobo here, outside the off stump. But yeah, as you say, maybe he's just very much kind of camped down and pitched his tent and said, I'm going to be obdurate.
It's easy to do.
To move.
Yeah, it's easy to do. And to be honest, if you keep playing, then Kent will be all right, because it's about keeping wickets in hand there. As I say, the scoring rate isn't particularly challenging, but they're just allowing the bowlers to bowl. You know, you can play a full defensive. It can go obviously out into the covers, but you can still take a couple of paces down the wicket and look as though you're going for a single, even though you know you're going to be told to go back. Here's Felix Organ. Down the wicket comes Finch, drives that up to mid-on. It's fairly deep. And they'll pick up a single, 99 for 6.
Better from Finch.
Yeah.
And I thought Jaden Denley was striking that balance quite well, actually, until he got out. Obviously, a couple of boundaries and the hooked 6 as well.
So Felix Organ to Stobo. Stobo works that to mid-wicket. Score remains on 98 for 6. We're in the 28th over, I think we are.
Yep, indeed.
Computer just sticks every now and then. Stobo's on 2, Finch is on 15. Used up 52 balls, Finch, at the non-striker's end. Here's Organ. Oh, he played a miss in that side of the stump. Probably played slightly inside the line, looking to work it down to third where there's a gap, but played a little bit too much.
Yeah, nice flight from Organ. Well bowled.
Again, balls, and Stobo plays that back to the bowler. Well, it is a nervy run chase, that is for sure, and a game which has probably surprised not just us, but probably a few round the ground that thought that you might see a few more runs today. As Organ bowls is off the back foot. That's a good stop in the covers by Tom Prest. So still 70 runs are needed, which normally wouldn't be too many to worry about, but 6 wickets have been lost and still looks a little tricky out there at times. That's turned away 45 on the leg side. Stobo wants to single, but Finch says no, we're not having any of that. And that is the end of another over.
Yeah, there was a couple of occasions in that over really where probably should have been working it into gaps and getting through for singles, but Stobo's picked out a couple of fielders. We're saying, can you feel need to be a bit more proactive out there? They can't just be banking on saving it late, because Kyle Abbott could come back on and take a wicket, and then suddenly they're in a pickle with 9, 10, 11 trying to get them over the line. So Eddie Jack to continue from the town end. Finch defends. Back up the pitch. .99 on the board against Spitfires. 169 required to win the game. Peculiar feel around this game here at Beckenham, just so uncharacteristic from the sort of game of cricket you would normally expect on this wicket, which is typically so good for batting on, as this one is punched into the covers by Finch.
Yeah, but it hasn't been a particularly action-packed game, has it? Let's be honest. Low scoring, nervy at times. The odd wicket, that's the only thing to get excited about.
I was going to say, what, 2 sixes? One slog sweep from Organ and then the hook from Denley?
Is that all there's been?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Jack bowls. Finch again forward and just defending.
There's one down here, wasn't there?
Oh no, we had a couple. We had one from Brad Wheel, which he bumped out towards the scoreboard. And Colin Abbott got one, which I don't remember in particular.
Wasn't the pull shot from the far end?
Maybe it was, yeah. Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah. So we had, what, 4?
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's
Yeah.
a couple more than I thought.
Yeah, that is a couple more than I thought. Although I remember now the Brad Wheel one.
Yeah.
So that was quite a shot for a number 11. Here's Finch facing, driving on the bounce back into the hands of Eddie Jack. Doing a good job, keeping it tight at the moment, the young seamer.
Yeah, he is, yeah. He seems to be learning very fast, the 18-year-old, in the games he's playing. He knows it's a tight situation. He isn't trying to bowl too quickly and just lose his shape a little bit and the odd one too straight, or he's just making sure that he gets it in a perfect line and length.
Yeah, compared to the young man I saw bowl at the Isle of Wight last year, who was trying to bowl quick and hit back of length and, you know, lively, but wasn't. You know, this is a much more mature Eddie Jack already with 12 months on.
That's what this competition's all about, isn't it? All the youngsters getting some first team exposure and quickly learning on the job. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I guess he's in between that time. He's played a lot of England under-19 cricket, second team cricket. Here he's bowling to Harry Finch. Finch forward and driving pleasantly up towards mid-off, but without a chance to score. Eklund doing the fielding, so a maiden over from Eddie Jack, and Kent remain on 99, 4-6, with 29 overs gone. So at this stage, Hampshire were 101 for 7. Hampshire were ahead at this stage.
Yeah, it's there will be times when you need to bowl just that little quicker, or to get your maximum speed out of yourself, and that's again how you learn situations in games. And either he's worked out, or through his captain and maybe Kyle Abbott as well, they've worked out that no, just bowl it straight here, because they have to keep things tight. Felix Organ to continue with his off-spin bowls to Stobo. And Stobo's quietly playing that back to the bowl. It feels like a 4-day game at the last half an hour or so. Maybe a bit longer.
Yeah, Kent's from rate required is up to 3.3 and over.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's Stobo goes big in the air. Now there's nobody out at deep mid-off, so there is runs. It's just a matter of how many, and it's 6. Bounces just in front of the sight screen, between the sight screen and the advertising hoardings. That's a good strike.
Yeah, that was a good strike. I mean, off the bat, I thought it was going up rather than long, but actually he's got plenty on it. And as you say, with mid-on and mid-off up in the circle, there was relatively little risk in taking on the shot. So there we go. We've been talking about a lack of 6s. There's number 5 for the game.
105 for 6 now, Kent. That's Fuller, and Stobo digs that one out into the covers.
Sent long on back now.
Yeah, middle staying up, not on back, as you say. We're in the 30th over here. Organ bowls to Stobo. Stobo comes down the wicket, drives up to mid-off. They'll pick up a single. 106 for 6 now. Kent need, I think by my maths, 63. Does that sound about right? Yes, it does.
Yep, indeed.
Brings Finch back on strike. Let's work back to Organ, and I think Finch will feel happy with Stobo at the crease. Actually, will probably feel that Stobo will play just a little bit more positive than Singh before him. Finch can just happily play the way he's been playing. Organ bowls. Well, he comes down the wicket and drives it over mid-on. That's a good shot. Probably spurred on and motivated by Stobo earlier in the over. Had the confidence to come down the wicket, met the ball just slightly short of a length, and just lifted that over mid-on. Nice shot. Big over that.
Yeah, important over for Kent. 11 runs coming off it. Yeah, like you say, I think perhaps Harry Finch was encouraged by the way that Stobo bopped that one over the top and thought, well, he moved long on back for him, but that fielder's up in the circle for me, so perhaps I should be trying to take advantage. And it was concise and precise footwork down the pitch, and did enough to lift it over the man and away for 4. So getting up to 110 for 6 at the 30 over stage. That's Eddie Jack. Bowls to Stobo, and he drills this into the ground, and that's good running. That's much more proactive cricket. As he'd hit the ball hard into the ground, it was always going to be a slightly awkward pick-up for the mid-off, and Stobo set off straight away, knowing that was the case. And they came easily through for a single, so 111 for 6.
This is good stuff on the Australian. I mean, you know, there is no need to go at any sort of pace, but he's just injecting a bit of positivity, and you know, everybody feeds off that. All the batters feed off that.
So Finch, the man on strike, 19 from 60 balls for Harry Finch, but he's helping this on its way for 4. Little bit leg side from Eddie Jack, and steered away behind square by Harry Finch. Just got enough bat on it to help it on its way. The long leg fielder quite square, so no chance for him to cut that off. Wondered whether Finch just slightly came down the pitch at that. It was just a slight shimmy forward. Possibly Finch benefited from that movement. Wonder whether Jack just adjusted his line and length slightly.
It's too leg side, isn't it?
Got drawn into that line because of the movement from Finch out of his crease. Jack tries again. This time Finch comes forward and drives up towards mid-off. Pleasantly, but straight to the fielder. Just seeing Kyle Abbott stretching off the quads. That is captain Nick Goins chatting to him.
Yeah, he's got to come on now. It'll be just very quickly, it'll be too late.
So Jack comes in. Finch once more comes forward. And again, that's just good cricket. They take a single and they're going to get an extra one. Just defended the ball into the ground. Good communication between the pair. Set off straight away for the single. The throw came in at the wicketkeeper's end. Overthrows beyond the man at square leg as well, who was backing up, and they were able to come back for a second. So all of a sudden, you just put a teensy bit of pressure on a side who have been, you know, just happy to bowl and put it on a spot and keep it tight, keep the squeeze on. All of a sudden, Kent have just put a smidge back onto Hampshire, and they've managed to just find some more runs out there. Cut away by Finch. There's a fielder out on the deep on the offside, so that'll be a single.
Yeah, and the positivities all come from Charlie Stobo. I mean, even before in that overthrow there, Stobo's call, quite a quick call saying, yeah, I'll go in, I'm going. And what was a tightish one became 2.
So 118 for 6. Jack to Stobo, last ball of the over, the 31st of the Kent reply. Full delivery, which is half driven by Stobo up towards mid-on. Abbott does the fielding. End of the over. Looks like Abbott is warming up to return at this town end of the ground, Beckenham end.
Yeah, I think that's right. And Jack's bowled well, but 2 for 29 off 8 overs. I think it's time for a change.
Wonder if we're going to see Dom Kelly from the City end. Yeah. So Kent's positivity against Organ means he's coming out of the attack. Could well be a double change.
Yeah. Yeah. What, I suppose with Organ bowling, what you don't want is a mid-off and mid-on back, so that the batters can get an easy single down to that area. But of course, if you've got one up, as we saw, then it invites the hit over the top, which Kent in that last over were prepared to do, so it needs a change. 51 needed off from 19 overs. Kelly, with his medium pace, is turned away behind square on the leg side by Finch. They'll come back for 2. Again, see there, the running all of a sudden is a bit more aggressive. And Kent look a different side in this last 2 or 3 overs, and it's all really down to Stobo, who's just injected that bit of momentum into this reply. It didn't need much, to be fair. But it just needed something, just to gee everyone in that Kent side up a little bit more, rather than just playing it out the way they were. Kelly again to Finch. Finch drives into his pad. Ball just literally lands in front of him. So we're in the 32nd over here. Kent at 126, chasing that 168 all out.
So still 49 more to win.
Mm.
Hampshire sensing that now is the time where they need a couple of breakthroughs.
Yeah, definitely.
Kent haven't gone anywhere particularly quickly up until the last over or so. They've found a couple of boundaries and rotated the strike a bit better.
Finch is 28 or 66 facing Kelly. Plays and misses. I think he was trying to work that down to 3rd. May just have straightened on him a fraction, the way he was doing that hand gestures that batters do.
So Kevin James just got an update for BBC Silent, BBC Radio Kent, BBC Sport Online, and via the BBC app and website, and via the Kent Cricket live stream here from a breezy Beckenham, but warm and sunny. Clear overhead as Dom Kelly, the England under-19 international, shuffles in to bowl to Harry Finch, and this time he makes contact with the little run down to 3rd man. Another plane in the distance going overhead, possibly towards London City Airport. got my flight radar out. Yeah, it felt like the player missed from Finch in the or earlier on in the over. He was trying to play that little rundown shot. Oh, that Daniel Drummond so enjoys in white ball cricket for Kent fans. We regularly watch it. As Kelly bowls here to Stobo, just stands tall in the crease and leans this away into the onside for a run. Who did we have that emailed in? Of course, we had Tom Leaning getting in touch earlier on, and then Ian messaged in to say, according to a well-known search engine, there are 567 people called Leaning in England. There you go. Facts you didn't know before the start of the day. Thanks to Ian from Norwich. So here comes Kelly to Finch. Always hit him in the pad. He did shuffle down the pitch. Suspect that he was probably outside the line of off stump with the guard that Harry Finch has been taking. He's batting pretty much on off stump, quite a long way across his guard here. There we go, seeing the replay again. He's miles outside the off stump, playing that defensive stroke. So here comes Kyle Abbott. 32 overs gone, 122 for 6. Abbott, who's bowled 8 overs, 5 maidens, 3 for 13. Redonkulous figures in white ball cricket. He actually was the top scorer, of course, in the Hampshire innings, 37. Dom Kelly making 32, so it's the two top scorers, along with Gubbins, the captain, who also made 32, who are currently in tandem with the ball. She bowled out after 41 overs for 168. It was a run out in the end that got rid of Abbott. So he's about to come in with 2 more overs of his possible allotted 10 to go. But past the umpire and Finch at the non-striker's end. Stobo just angling this down into the gully area. 2 slips behind him, the Australian. He himself bowled 7 overs, 2 for 21 earlier on. Very tight. Charlie Stobo. He's the one at the moment tasked with essentially just trying to see off this penultimate Kyle Abbott over. From Kent's point of view, I think they'll won't feel they need to score against Abbott. It's just about seeing it off. So here he is once more, Kyle Abbott. A little bit shorter of length than Stobo was actually looking to score. Trying to push that off the back foot. Not just thudding it into the ground really. Out towards cover. So more and more dot balls for Kyle Abbott. The scorecard I'm looking at doesn't have dot balls, but sometimes they do on certain. Well, normally it's more the 100 or T20. You might see so many dot balls. Someone's bowled, but Kyle Abbott, well, the majority of his spells have been dot balls. This one's clipped away with timing, but straight to mid wicket by Stobo. Neat stop by Felix Organ. So he hasn't just sat there and looked to defend himself so far, Stobo.
Oh, he's looking for it without being silly. He's just trying to be positive, but just by defending.
Yeah, just letting the base of the ball come on and hit the bat. So here he comes again. Abbott past the umpire. Down the leg side. No, nothing. Well, Charlie Stobo looks bemused. There was 0 appeal. Normally if it brushed something you'd get some sort of appeal, some sort of strangled effort. But no, maybe it did brush the thigh pad. Just seeing the replay, it looked like it probably did brush something. I don't think Stobo felt it. He looked bemused why it wasn't given a wide, but it's a dot ball. Abbott bowls 2, and this time he crunches it off the back foot. Good stop by Gubbins, moving to his left. And they come through for a quick single.
Stobo certainly gave the umpire a stare for quite a while.
Does he not know that all Kent needs to do is see off the Kyle Abbott overs? Don't allow him bowl another delivery.
Great stop by Gubbins, wasn't it?
Yeah, felt like that was with no extra cover sweeper. If he'd have let that go through, could have been 2 or 3 runs. Full delivery to Finch. And he is playing this away out towards cover. 9 overs gone then for Kyle Abbott. That over just 1 run coming from it. 3 for 14 with 5 maidens. But just 1 more over up his sleeve. Ken's 123 for 6. Still needing a further 46.
Well, whatever the outcome of this game, from a Kent point of view, it's been hard work, the reply, isn't it? They've had to work hard, that's for sure. Hampshire trying to make it difficult for them. Here's Kelly. Bowling to Stobo. Stobo works out away wide of mid-wicket. Might be 2 here. Fletcher Middleton's got a lot of work to do in the deep. Coming round from deep square legs. Stobo picks up 2, moves on to 14. 125 for 6 in the 34th. 44 runs needed now.
Acceptably played, little flick off the hip by Stobo.
Kelly so far in this game. That's about 5 overs, 1 for 15. Oh, he's lost his run up. Have to do that all over again. Still only 1 result today in this competition, in this same group. Derbyshire beat Lancashire by 9 wickets. All the other games in play, in both games, in both groups. Here comes Kelly again to Stobo. Stobo gets wrapped on the pad.
I think that was a little inside edge onto the pad. Otherwise, Hampshire would have been very excited.
Stobo's 14 from 22.
Good change up there in terms of the length from Don Kelly. Was nice and full.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just looking at that again on the picture feed.
Yeah, without the bat, I think that would have been a huge appeal.
Kelly again from the far end, bowls, and Stobo drives up to mid-on. Felix Organ Fields has a throw, but Stobo was always going to be home on 26 for 6. Well, Kent closing in on that 169 victory target, and we're only in the 34th over.
It's getting good cricket from Stobo, just the drive just slightly out of the line of the fielder. Made him move to his right to come and collect it, and therefore he was confident of getting through for a single.
Finch drives up to mid-on. Quite close this time, Morgan.
It's not often we find ourselves complimenting the way batters take singles in a one-day game of cricket, in white ball cricket. Really good single.
Well, I suppose in a low-scoring game, they become even more important, don't they?
Especially when the previous partnership, Kent got rather bogged down in the middle period.
Has to pull that away on the leg side. Called a wide. Good diving stop from Ben Brown.
Good from Ben Brown to make everyone think possibly that Fincher did it. Something I noticed the other day with the sponsors of this competition, Kevin. You can see their advertising hoardings behind the bowler and the wicketkeeper. Somebody called it an apostrophe apocalypse, with the use of women's and girls cricket, the apostrophes being in different places.
That's interesting. That's pulled away by Finch down to fine leg. There is fielder there, Seti Jack.
My own observation was, is this a self-titled champions of women's and girls cricket from that particular sponsor? I mean, nobody else is calling them that, are they? Let's be honest.
So the apostrophes where they are now obviously means something, is it?
Well, I think somebody was suggesting that it was incorrect grammatically. And they should be the same.
Right. So one in between or before the S and one after.
That's what they've got at the moment, yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Lost his run up again, Dom Kelly.
I think I personally think they missed an opportunity to jump on the well-known social media trend that is Metro Bank fever around the competition.
What's that? That's.
Oh, have you got Metrobank fever? It's just the love of the competition. It's.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But nobody's picked up on that.
No, well, seemingly not. Look, whoever does their ad campaign of it.
Well, you can start it, can't you? Stobo works that away behind square on the leg side. Middleton gathers and throws and keeps it down to a single. 129 for 6 at the end of the 34th. Yeah, you can start it on your social media.
Well, yeah, if you look at the hashtag, yeah, you'll see plenty of people picking up this competition as opposed to the other one that's currently taking place. I think that's part of it as well. And love for the longer form of the game, or the sort of purer form of the game, if you will.
It's a place. No doubt about it.
Fans in county cricket trying to big up the competition in a way that they feel perhaps others aren't. It's amazing to think that some young players like Will Smead, who has only ever played white ball cricket in the 100 and T20 Blast, never played a 50-over game cricket for Somerset so far. So Kyle Abbott's final over incoming. He bowls a full delivery on leg stump to Stobo, which he drives up towards mid-on. So we're seeing the 35th over of the run chase, and this is where Kyle Abbott is going to bowl out. I think it's now or never. 40 runs to win for Kemp. And their talisman, ball in hand, trying to add to the 3 wickets he took in his opening spell. Abbott running in. Stobo once again softly plays this way into the covers, but as you were referring to a couple of overs ago, Kevin, at least there's some sort of half intent from Stobo to think about singles.
Yeah, and it's important from a non-striker's point of view as well, because he's more alert, thinking, what's he going to do? Is he going to call me through? Have I got to call early to make sure that we don't complete a single or complete one? So your mind straight away is more alert.
4 balls to go for Abbott today here at Beckenham. This one defended away once more by Stobo. Nice high elbow up. The ball goes to Jack at mid-on.
He's just been the right man to come in at the right time, Stobo, hasn't he? Just experience, 29 years of age. Responsibility of being the overseas player as well, or one of them. Just probably wasn't a bad thing coming in when he did.
Yeah, feels like he's played the situation so far. 3 more balls to go in this Kyle Abbott over, but also spell, and he drives here Stobo up towards mid-off where Eklund does the fielding. Runs from the earth so far.
It's not quite over yet.
No, still a fair few more runs to get. Just Stuart Parkinson to Gilchrist to come. Stobo and Finch trying to eke Kent towards the finish line. Driven up towards mid-on, and they come through for a single. Again, good intent. Won't be an overthrow on this occasion. Gubbins managing to stop the jack throw towards the non-striker's end, but even that time Stobo hit it straight to mid-on, but just the decisive call, going straight away, setting off. Even if it was a direct hit, he'd have made it home. So a single takes Abbott's figures to 3 for 15. With 1 to come. Harry Finch on strike for it. Abbott past the umpire. Full delivery. I think there's a bit of bat involved despite the appeal. Maybe was some pad too. But Finch gets a run into the leg side. And Kyle Abbott gets a really good hand from the crowd here at Beckenham. 10 overs. 3 for 16, including 5 maidens.
That's terrific, isn't it?
There you go, Fred on the tannoy.
Good round of applause as well.
Reading out those figures.
Absolutely terrific stuff.
He's done his bit, Kyle Abbott. today with bat and ball. Now it's over to his colleagues, young Dom Kelly, to continue.
From the City end, bowling to Finch. It's been a bit of a rock in the innings, and he's going to take a quick single up to mid-on. That's good running. Slightly to Felix Organ's left. Always a single if he goes straight away. So 132 for 6, 37 runs needed from just under 15 overs. Kelly saw that ball just bounce over him a little bit as he was hit into the ground. It's very hard out there. Square. Stobo to face Kelly this time. To pull that away on the onside, didn't time that one. Ball trickles out towards mid-wicket, fielded by Joseph Eklund. Nice bit of breeze then. Don't know where that came from, but very welcome. So 132 for 6. 37 remaining from 88 balls, or 37 to win off 88 balls. And 4 wickets in hand. Here's Kelly again. Bowl. Stobo does get hold of that, and he's helped that away behind square on the leg side for 4 runs. Can hear the crowd now a bit as we're coming towards the end of this game.
Well, they've welcome from their afternoon nap.
Yeah.
Like you say, it has felt a bit like a county championship game at times today, not only in terms of the pace that Kent have batted, but also the crowd.
Yeah. It's just needed steady heads out there, isn't it? Really. Not anybody to do anything too fancy, although Swanepoel did give Kent some momentum early on in the innings, which probably wasn't a bad way to play, but everybody else, I think, just had to take their time. There's a lovely drive through extra cover. This could be 4 as well. Slightly over pitched, and Brad will always pulled it back just from inside the rope, but they will come back for 3. So 7 runs off the last 2 deliveries.
Yeah, a couple of beautiful strokes from Stobo. Latched onto the shorter length in the previous delivery, and then really nicely caressed that through the covers.
So these two are put on just over 40 now for the 7th wicket.
30 to win.
Yeah. There's Kelly bowls. Low full toss almost. That's driven up to mid-on by Finch. 85 balls remain. So now Kent, who initially you thought, God, 6 wickets down. Now you get to a point where you think, well, they're only 6 wickets down. As that runs to win target comes down.
Yeah, like you say, when it was 70 to win.
Yes. Ooh. Ooh, hello.
Yes.
There's Kelly again, bowls and gets a full delivery, and again it's driven up to Felix Organ, end of the 36th over, 139 for 6.
So bowling wise, where does Nick Gubbins go? Back to Eddie Jack or Wheel? I think it might be Jack. Yeah, he's going to come back on.
Yeah.
Also chopping and changing of the seamers.
So Brad Wheel's got 2, Eddie Jack's got 2, Dominic Clay's got 3, Felix Organ's still got 7. 3 overs for 14 actually from Felix Organ. Wasn't that expensive in the end, but they obviously still feel the seamers have got the best chance.
Yeah, and I guess Ken maybe just patted back the first 2 overs, and then that last one went for 11, didn't it? Yeah, I think you're right. They feel like the seamers are their best chance of taking the wickets, and they're almost banking on the fact that this isn't going to go the full 50. So Jack back once more from the Beckenham end. Oh, nice bumper.
It's going to be a low ball then. No.
It has been allowed as the one over shoulder height. Perhaps the fact that Charlie Stobo is a tall fella has been the allowance in that situation. Whereas the one that Swanepoel got earlier on in the piece was given as a wide, albeit that was a bit leg side as well. But you can see what he was trying to do at the time, Jack. Swanepoel chasing after the shorter balls. Here comes Jack. Full delivery this time, clipped away towards deep square by Stobo on the full. Felix all good doing the fielding. 1 run taken. Okay, up to 140 for 6. 169 the victory target here at Beckenham. Eddie Jack bowls again to Harry Finch this time. He goes for a pull shot and plays and misses. There was an appeal from behind the stumps. Not quite sure what for. Need some stumps on top of the stumps for that to be LBW. Finch has 32 from 76. Very watchful innings from him. Stobo a more proactive 25 from 34. Here comes Jack. To Finch. Oh, 4 on leg stump, but everybody misses it. Misses leg stump. Finch missed it. Keeper took it, but wide signal. See what Jack's trying to do at times with kind of a leg stump line is a bit more in vogue in white ball cricket to try and cramp batters for room, but Harry Finch is batting quite a long way across his stump. So the fact that he's missed it and he's got another leg side wide signalled. Goes for a Yorker leaf delivery here. And played up towards Eklund at mid-off by Finch. Credit to these Hampshire bowlers for the way that they've stuck at this. Never given this up despite the fact they were only ever defending 168. Didn't quite have the same explosive start as Kent did when Hampshire were reduced to 24 for 4. But took regular enough wickets to put Kent under pressure. As Finch drives here out towards mid-wicket. 8 for 1, 22 for 2, 42 for 3, 53 for 4, 76 for 5, 96 for 6. These two came together and have since moved the score on to 141. With 28 more required now for victory, so these two will feel like the job is almost there. Hampshire, if they could get 1 more wicket, just give them a bit of a glimmer of hope. If they got 10 and 11 out there, then they might have a chance. But at the moment, Finch and Stobo playing this sensibly, defended away by Harry Finch. Into the 37th over, so 13 to go.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing for Hampshire is they are actually playing sensibly. And you kind of don't want that, really. Somebody has a little thrash and the game's all over, you go fair enough, but if they have a thrash and get out, you're always in with a chance.
Yeah, you kind of felt like I put Swanepoel at the top of the order. He was chancing his arm so much that he was going to get out at some point.
So Eddie Jack's 9 overs, Maiden 2 for 31, Kelly 7 overs, 1 for 29. Stobo's 25, not out. Finch 32. Good partnership between these two for the 7th wicket. Here's Wheel back into the attack. Stobo drives on the up to mid-off, fielded by Organ. So we're into the 38th over here. 28 runs are needed from here on in. So just under 13 overs to bowl now.
Yeah, we're going to see 2 from Wheel here. We might see Wheel and Jack bowl out before too long. From
that City end then. See Stobo. Stobo just works it away off his hip down towards deep square leg. 26 he moves on to. 142 for 6. 27 are needed from 76. Slip in still Hampshire in the hope that there might be an edge somewhere along the line. Haven't been one for quite a while. Wheel in again to Finch. Finch drives on the up out to point. Oh, wicked bounce in front of Toby Albert. Does well to pick that up cleanly.
It was off one of the practice wickets.
Wasn't it?
One of the second 11 pitches maybe. South East Stars wickets.
42 for 6, still 27 needed. Wheel again. Into Finch. Finch turns that straight delivery down to fine leg. And 43 for 6 now in the 38th. 26 are needed by the home side. Wheel into his 9th over here. Seamer's bowling the bulk of the overs, just 3 overs from Felix Organ. But there really hasn't been much in this pitch once these balls get a bit older. Stobo pushes that out to point. A little bit easier this time for Albert. Ball behaves itself off the surface. Yeah, I think the seamers have bowled accurately. It's been waiting for one just to bounce a bit more and do something, but it hasn't really happened for a while now. I think we saw that with the Kent bowlers as well, as the partnerships generally came lower down the order for Hampshire.
That was something Lewis, our junior journal, was saying.
Turned away to mid-wicket, no run.
About the fact that Hampshire's runs came at the back end of their innings. Of course, against the softer white ball. And it loses that hardness.
Interesting to see if you play on the same wicket here on Sunday. No idea, I can't see anything else cut the same, but then that's a few days away. End of the over, 38 gone. Still 26 runs are needed, but the balls remaining are still many. 72. Remember, Hampshire didn't use 9 of their overs up. My word. It's almost a fifth of the innings. What used?
It's a long time. Jack to Finch. One leg start. It's again that wide delivery, because Finch is back so far across, even though he's missed the ball, he's still going to benefit from a wide. It's quite possible that Kent, well, quite likely almost, that Kent's going to get up to 41 overs behind what Hampshire managed from that point of their innings. But Kent have played it so watchfully that even though it's taking their time, ultimately all they're after is the 2 points. So Finch is defending this next one from Jack, who is about to bowl out. This is his 10th and final over, 2 for 32 so far. Should have a BBC Radio Kent, BBC Sussex Surrey update incoming here. Better check the score at York. Of course, that win for Derbyshire earlier on in this group as Finch drives away through covers. Yeah, Kent look like they're on course for victory now. It has perhaps been slightly in doubt at the courses of this second innings, with Hampshire taking 6 wickets and putting Kent under a little bit of pressure at times. But these two, Charlie Stobo, Harry Finch, came together at 96 for 6, and they've since moved the score onto 148 for 6. Finch just driving there to the cover boundary for 4 runs to move on to 37. Charlie Stobo had come in and been really proactive for 26, including a 6 he hit down the ground off the spinner. Felt like that just got Kent going again. Finch pulling away here into the onside for 4, and now they're romping towards victory. Just 17 more runs required for Kent to win this match. They did the hard work earlier on, reducing Hampshire for 24 for 4, 3 wickets for Swanepoel, 2 for Stewart and for Stobo, a run out at the end, meaning they were 168 all out. Hampshire and Kent look good at the moment to make it back-to-back wins in the One-Day Cup. Elsewhere at the moment at York, Sussex, of course, on their own run chase, trying to get to 262 to beat Yorkshire. They're 173 for 6, so a little bit nervy there for them with the loss of a couple of wickets. Foreman currently at the crease with Carter, and with Clark, the captain, top scoring with 55 so far, but he has been and gone. So nip and tuck in that one, perhaps, with Sussex needing 88 more runs to win the game, but Kent now just needs 17 more runs to win. Plenty of overs required as well, so they look to be cruising to victory. Commentary continues of both of those matches via the BBC Sport app and website. So 1-5-2 for 6, Kent. Finch on strike. Cuts away into the offside, and fielders chasing this out towards the boundary. Not going to reach it, but good running. They come back for 3. So in this over, Finch has taken check for a couple of 4s, and also now for a 3 to move Kent to within 14 runs now of victory.
Still only in the 39th over. There's Eddie Jack bowls and pulled away by Stobo, but that's not timed. Hit that into the ground as the ball bounced away towards mid-wicket, fielded by Toby Abbott. So 39 overs gone, and Kent need just 14 runs to win from the final 11 overs. Should be all fairly simple now, having lost just 6 wickets. These two have been together since the 27th over. Good partnership.
Yeah, it's been a mature partnership, hasn't it? Finch has just dug in and done his job for the team here. You have to commend his patience. When all those wickets were falling around him earlier on, and he was 14 off 50 balls, wasn't he, Harry Finch, at one point in time? But was never in a rush. And has done the important thing, having scored 48 at Blackpool at the weekend. Harry Finch is unbeaten on 44 here. And about to face Felix Organ, who's going to come back into the attack.
It's going to be Nick Gubbins.
Oh, okay. I'm going to see a different kind of spin then, leg spin.
Yeah. Final throw of the dice.
The skipper bringing himself on. Flicked away by Finch out towards mid-wicket. Top order start of Gubbins. Here he comes for the next one. Oh, Finch has wrong-footed the mid-wicket there, and might have even got 4 runs for this as well. So Harry Finch moves to 48. And Kent now 10 runs away from victory. Gubbins bowls, driven, 1 bounce into the hands of cover by Finch. Gubbins, slight drag down, Finch moves deep in his crease, plays it away on the offside. Single will move him to 49. Kent need 9 to win. Well, they've taken their time about this, Kevin James, but I guess ultimately it was about getting the job done.
It was, yeah. I mean, they've been under no massive pressure in terms of run rate.
There's a delivery from Gubbins, which Stobo plays and misses that. Outside the off stump, the pressure came in the form of Kyle Abbott with that early spell that he bowled, the 3 wickets. Just made it nervy for Kent, and oh, that one's been slapped away by Stobo into the leg side. That's gone all the way for 6. Charlie Stobo deciding he might want to finish this game off now. Gubbins just tossing up that delivery, and the Australian belting it away into the leg side. Kent are up to 166 for 6 at the 40 over stage, as he just a little skip down the pitch and deposited it away leg side, Stobo. So within a boundary now of the victory target.
I think that was taken cleanly in the crowd. I think somebody who was ready to catch it dropped it. Not that there's any prizes for either.
So is it going to be Felix Organ then to finish up proceedings, potentially? One would assume it might be completed in this over. Here comes Organ, defended away by Harry Finch. 49. Around the wicket. Oh, Finch has come down the pitch. Oh, and the keeper's fumbled it. Should have been stumped. But even Ben Brown has lost his concentration or given up the ghost. Little fumble, and Finch was able to get back. He walked down the pitch, tried to pop it over the top to finish off the job. Should have been stumped. But he's still there, and he's facing this next delivery from Morgan, which is a drag down, and this time he pulls it away into the leg side for 4. Harry Finch finishes on 53 not out, and Kent win the match by 4 wickets with over 9 overs to spare in the end. But inside the 41 overs it took Hampshire for their 168 all out. In the end, a crucial partnership for the 7th wicket for Kent. 32 from Charlie Stobo, and Harry Finch, as I say, ending on 53 not out, hitting the winning runs, and it's back-to-back wins for Kent in the One Day Cup and a first defeat in the competition of the season for Hampshire. Kevin James.
Yeah, well, Kent fully worth their victory there. 96 for 6 in the 27th. You could say there was a little bit of a gap there for Hampshire, but Stobo, and especially Finch had the confidence just to anchor the innings, really, and making sure that there wasn't any further openings. And when Charlie Stobo came to the crease, just that little bit of extra impetus just kept the scoreboard ticking along. They didn't worry too much, of course, because they themselves had over 9 overs that weren't used up. But in the end, I think it just proved that Hampshire's score of 168 all out was never enough.
Yeah, indeed so. Well, thanks very much for tuning in to this commentary via the Kent Cricket live stream and also on the BBC Sport app and website. I will be back in this very seat on Sunday when Kevin Hand will be joining me for the visit of Middlesex. Hampshire next in action. Kevin James.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
When's your next game?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was just writing something down there.
You're okay.
We are Sunday at home to Keaton Jennings, less Lancashire.
There we go. Well, I have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your company today, and thanks to Lewis as well, our junior journo, who came and joined us for a few overs, and you guided him through it. I'll be about to join him for the post match in a minute, so you'll be able to hear some of that on BBC Radio Kent tomorrow morning and via the Kent Cricket social media pages as well. So yeah, thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll be back with you for commentary on the next One Day Cup action for Kent and Hampshire on Sunday. The result here at Beckenham is victory for the Kent Spitfires, as I say, by 4 wickets with a half-century for Harry Finch, 32 not out for Charlie Stobo earlier on in the piece, 3 wickets for Bears Swanepoel, 2 each for Grant Stewart, for Charlie Stobo. Excellent work from Kyle Abbott in the second innings, bowled up an absolute storm, 10 overs, 5 maidens, 3 for 16, really impressive from him. But he ends up on the losing side in this one. Thanks very much for joining us on the commentary. We'll speak to you again very soon.